Tom Young and Derek Brandeo are our technical directors. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Mississauga on Lakeshore Road and on Watline Avenue. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center or visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Today we get a starting pitching matchup that features former teammates. Together with the Oakland A's, they now face each other in a matchup of the Blue Jays and Phillies. It's Chris Bassett for Toronto against Jesus Luzardo, the lefty, for Philadelphia. Lineup standings, first pitch on the other side. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, streaming at sportsnet.ca on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch three-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Only Sportsnet and Sportsnet Plus bring you every game of the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Things really starting to heat up.
The quest continues.
There's some bad blood. There's some animosity. There's some rivalries.
For hockey's ultimate prize.
Great players know that playoffs are a time to shine.
Great play, and he scores!
Wow! From 16 teams to one champion.
You cannot script this stuff.
Watch or stream every game of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Only on Sportsnet. Here for the Cup.
In April, Rory McIlroy completed the career Grand Slam.
Rory McIlroy, he's won the Masters.
Then, Scottie Scheffler won his third major championship at Quail Hollow.
Scottie Scheffler is a PGA champion.
Next week, the best players in golf travel to Oakmont Country Club for our national championship.
That may be a U.S. Open winning shot.
U.S. Open Radio returns this Monday on Channel 92 in the car and on the Sirius XM app. Blue Jays fans, no matter where you are, you won't miss a pitch with the SiriusXM app. Hear every game all season long. Download the SiriusXM app and search Blue Jays.
Net Radio Network.
1-2 pitch. Swing and a deep drive. Right center field. Rojas at the warning track. It's off the fence, and the Blue Jays win! Alejandro Kirk is your hero tonight as Toronto gets the big hit off its former closer to take it 2-1 and even the series.
Jordy's got a very unique fastball profile. It's kind of low slot and it gets on you. So I'm sure that played into it, you know. Again, it's a guy we're really familiar with and probably, I don't want to say easier for us because we know him. It's still, he's got great but I think it's probably, helped Kirky out there a little bit.
That was Blue Jays manager John Schneider speaking after yesterday's walk-off win for Toronto. Alejandro Kirk's double off the fence, scoring Vladimir Guerrero Jr. for the Blue Jays to win that game in the ninth, 2-1. Now Toronto and Philadelphia regroup. The Blue Jays and Phillies get set for the rubber match of the series. Here at Rogers Center, I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. And Chris, this is a big game. It's already been a 5-1 homestand for the Blue Jays. They have a tough road trip coming up. If you can take a series over a team like Philadelphia, that's got to do a lot for this team.
Well, just like you said, this is a big game. As big as a game could be on June 5th. But you have Chris Bassett, arguably the best starter in this rotation, going up against Jesus Luzardo, who's coming off a start where he gave up 12 earned runs in 3 1/3 innings. Going into his last start, he had a 2.15 ERA, arguably one of the best starters in all of Major League Baseball's. The Blue Jays have their hands full today with Jesus Luzardo, but this offense is really looking good, taking good pitches, and like Alejandro Kirk did against a tough Jordan Romano last night, went the other way on a very good fastball. They're going to have to do a lot of the same today against Luzardo.
We'll hear about the lineup the Blue Jays roll out there and the Phillies do in just a moment. But first, let's take a look at the Bet365 standings. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. The Yankees lead the division 37-23. Blue Jays and Rays tied for second, both 5.5 back at 32-29. The Red Sox are 30-34, 9 back, and the Orioles, don't look now, but winners of 5 straight, are 24-36, 13 games back. The Philadelphia Phillies a game and a half behind the Mets, who just beat the Dodgers for the second time in 3 nights. Phillies are 37-24, second in the NL East, top wildcard spot in the National League. Let's hear who the Phillies roll out today. They're managed by Canadian Rob Thompson. Who's in the lineup, Chris?
Well, leading off is Bryson Stott. He's at second base. Batting second is Trey Turner. He'll be at shortstop. At first base, batting third is Bryce Harper. In the cleanup spot, Kyle Schwarber. He's DHing this afternoon. Batting fifth is Alec Boehm. He's at third base. Hitting sixth is Nick Castellanos. He's in right field. In left field, batting seventh is Max Kepler. Batting eighth is Brandon Marsh. He's in center field. And behind the dish, batting ninth is Rafael Marchand. On the mound is lefty Jesus Luzardo. Leading off for the Toronto Blue Jays is Bo Bichette. He's at shortstop. Batting second is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He's at first base this afternoon. Batting third is George Springer. He's in right field. In the cleanup spot is Alejandro Kirk. He's DHing. At third base, batting fifth is Ernie Clement. At second base, batting sixth is Davis Schneider. Hitting seventh is Miles Straw. He's in center field. Hitting eighth is Jonathan Clausse. He's in left field. And behind the dish, batting ninth, back in the lineup is Tyler Heineman. On the mound is righty Chris Bassett.
Chris Bassett, 36 years old, from Toledo, Ohio, 6'5", 220 pounds. The right-hander is 5-3 with a 3.80 ERA in 12 games started. He'll throw the kitchen sink at you, but it's a lot of sinker, curveball, cutter for the righty. Bassett was looking to get a little bit back on track. His last 2 starts have not gone his way, allowing 10 total earned runs in 9 innings, including 5 in 5 in a Blue Jays win over the A's on May 30th.
Well, it's pretty simple for Chris Bassett. He has to locate that sinker, a lot like Jose Barrios did last night, who was incredible, by the way. You have to locate the sinker inside. You have to locate that cutter to the top of the strike zone, and I think he's going to be fine today.
Interesting you say that, because Bassett, he has almost every pitch, but he has somewhat of a similar mix to Barrios. And John Schneider had said before today's game that Bassett has seen the blueprint of what he needed to do. How Barrios used his sinker, Bassett can use his sinker. Sure, Barrios has the slurve and Bassett has the curve, but it's not that far off on how they can use some of those pitches. Bassett's got the splitter for Barrios' changeup, so he can kind of mirror him in certain ways.
Well, that curveball actually this season has been really, really effective. He's throwing it a lot more, I think, in the low 70s. Last year we saw a lot of 69s. Haven't really seen that all that often this season. A lot of bite to it, a lot of swings that look uncomfortable. I actually like that curveball. I wasn't really a huge fan of it in the past, just because it's kind of a gimmick, and it seemed like a gimmick to me. But this season, it's been a really, really effective pitch.
Bassett walking up to the top of the hill. The Blue Jays in their all-white uniforms today, jersey and pants, with royal blue caps. It's road grace for a third straight day for the Philadelphia Phillies. Bryson Stott, wearing a red helmet, steps in and taps the plate from the left side. Bassett winds, kicks, and deals. And the first pitch is right down the middle with a fastball for strike one. Time of the first pitch today, 3:09 Eastern. Work from Dome Day at Rogers Center. The roof is closed. Oh, 1. Called to strike again, 0-2.
It's 2 pretty good sinkers right there to start off this ball game. That one right there, 93, a lot of movement on it. You can see Stott jumping back.
First one was 90 for Chris Bassett. He'll probably sit around 92 today. He kicks and delivers home. Swing and a miss. He got him. 3 pitches, all of them sinkers. Or pardon me, the last one a cutter. Either way, he strikes out Stott. There's 1 down.
Well, that last cutter was perfectly located. Tyler Heineman was set up and away. Located that thing perfectly. Didn't have a ton of movement on it, but Bryson Stott clearly uncomfortable with that pitch.
Good start for Bassett, who thinks while looking down at the rubber. And now brings his hands together. Trey Turner in the righty box. 1 out, the wind, and the pitch. High ball 1. Home plate umpire today is the crew chief, Adrian Johnson. Chris Bassett stretching with his arms overhead on the hill. Quinn Walcott umpires first. Ramon DeJesus at second, and Paul Clemens at third. Bassett looks to home and offers. Swing and a foul off to the right, 1-1. A lot of these Phillies have seen a good handful of Chris Bassett, including Trey Turner, 4 for 9 against Bassett in his career with a double. The 1-1. Just missed low there. Looked like the sinker again. It was. 2 balls, 1 strike.
They were trying to come in. Tyler Heineman was set up in off the plate. Just didn't get it in quite enough. They might come in again.
Typically, Bassett doesn't have issues going into righties. He has gotten in trouble sometimes going into lefties. 2-1. Broken bat grounder on a pitch inside. It rolls over to short. Picked up by Bichette. He throws to first. And that's perfect execution by Bassett. 2 down.
Yeah, Trey Turner doesn't know that they're trying to come in there. Chris Bassett missed his spot right down the middle, just below the strike zone. So why not come in again? Trey Turner doesn't think you're trying to double up. He doesn't know you're trying to come in there. Chris Bassett and Tyler Heineman with the perfect execution there.
Nice to see Heineman back in the lineup. Was on the 7-day concussion injured list, activated at the start of this series. 2 down. Here's Bryce Harper. The pitch. Called a strike, 0-1. Bright blue cleats and batting gloves for Bryce Harper. The alternate color for the Phillies. Left-handed hitter with an open stance, slight knee bend, and the bat resting on his left shoulder. The 0-1. Called a strike again, 0-2.
I've been dying to ask you, what do you think of Bryce Harper's big mustache and trimmed beard?
I like it.
All right.
I like it. I mean, Bryce Harper's so cool. Pretty much everything he does works.
Short and sweet. I like that answer.
I like it. 2 outs, the 2-strike pitch. Hit on the ground, foul, first base side. This first inning is brought to you by Armstrong Bird Food, the reason birds fly north, feeding Blue Jays since 1986. Visit ArmstrongBirdFood.com. The one thing I do miss, I will say, is Harper used to have a bunch of eye black and then he'd streak it down his cheeks with his hands. Now, that was more when he was younger, more in his Nationals time. Now he's in his 14th big league season, a veteran, and wears cleaner, just straight lines of eye black underneath each eye. Another 0-2. Just high through the cutter up top. Harper didn't offer. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I would imagine you don't want to get eye black all over the beard. Probably tough to get off after the game. I don't know.
Harper hitting left. 2 outs and the base is empty. The pitch is fouled off of Tyler Heineman. I think that hit Heineman in the shin guard and rolled away to the right for sure. It's still 1-2.
You mentioned Chris Bassett has had his struggles in the past throwing inside to lefties. He's thrown a couple of good inside sinkers to Bryce Harper. Let's see if he does that again. Maybe a cutter in.
Heineman sets up in and low. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Missed his spot outside, but struck him out on the curve. 2 strikeouts and a 1-2-3. Top of the first. No score, Blue Jays and Phillies. Bo Bichette set to lead off when we come back. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, and it's no surprise. Bet365 must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swinging a liner, caught at third on a slide by Ernie Clement.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. Show Ali, our host and producer, Tom Young, and Derek Brandeo, our technical directors. Appreciate you tuning in for this Thursday matinee. Blue Jays and Phillies go to the bottom of the first inning where we see the left-hander Jesus Luzardo for the first time. He'll take on Bo Bichette. Into the wind, Luzardo kicks and offers. First pitch at the knees, strike one. Jesus Luzardo, 6 foot tall, 218 pounds, a 27-year-old, born in Lima, Peru, grew up in Florida. 1-1, down and in, 2-1. He is to date the first and only Peruvian-born Major League player in the history of the game. Works with long braided hair out of the back of his cap and rec specs on. His 2-1. Swing and a line drive down in left center field for a base hit. Took the Blue Jays a while to get going yesterday. They waste no time today picking up their first hit on Luzardo's third pitch of the game. It's a single for Bo Bichette.
That's a pretty good swing right there. It was an elevated changeup. That's not where they wanted that pitch. It was up and away at 87 miles an hour. Bo Bichette waits back, gets the barrel to it, and hammers that thing into left field.
Changeup is not one of the main pitches for Luzardo. It's a lot of fastball sweeper, but he'll mix in the change, a sinker, and a slider. He deals to Vlad Guerrero Jr., misses down and in at 97, ball one.
When your fastball averages 96.5 and you're a left-handed pitcher, why not lead with that?
Yeah. I mean, he's throwing it over a third of the time. 1-0. Called a strike, 1-1. And if you combine his four-seam and sinker usage, he's throwing fastballs about half the time. He's having a really nice first year with the Phillies, a former Athletic and Marlin. Next pitch downstairs, 2-1. 5-1 with a 3.58 ERA in 12 starts, 81 strikeouts in 70 1/3 innings. But you mentioned it, Chris, a little bit earlier on. Luzardo coming off one of the worst outings you'll see in a while. 12 earned runs against the Brewers in 3 1/3. Next pitch, big hack by Vladdy. Went after the changeup, 2-2. I mean, it takes a lot, 11, 12 starts in the season, to turn a 2.15 ERA into a 3.5 in one outing. Early in the year, it fluctuates, but he had already built up 60-odd innings before his ERA skyrocketed. His 2-2. Swing and a high fly ball near the foul line, medium depth right field. Castellanos moves over, makes the catch off to his right, and there's one out.
It is really difficult to give up 12 runs. Not only the majority of the time are you already taken out of the game, but you could throw a fastball, especially with his stuff. Just throw fastballs right down the middle. Tell those guys it's coming, and you might not still give up 12 runs.
And we can get into some of the historical context if you want. It is not pretty. The pitch to George Springer with one out. Called to strike, 0-1. Bo Bichette on first. No score, bottom of the first. So obviously, it's the most earned runs Luzardo has ever allowed in the game. Previous high was 9. He gave up last year against the Rays as a Miami Marlin. But it gets much deeper than that if you look back into Phillies record. So one pitch is lined out to left field. Charging in, Kepler makes the catch waist high. Bichette retreats to first, 2 down. So if you're trying to look at Phillies history, how many times have they seen a start like that? Phillies have been around for 143 seasons, one of the oldest remaining teams in baseball. It's the 10th time ever that someone has allowed 12 earned runs or more in an outing. It's the first time since Al Jurish did it against the New York Giants in 1947. He allowed 14. First pitch to Alejandro Kirk, called a strike, 0-1.
I love when you go that far back.
There's a lot of New York Giants and Brooklyn Dodgers if you're trying to find other Phillies outings of 12 earned runs or more. 0-1 to Alejandro Kirk. Swing and a miss by the DH and hero yesterday. 0-2. Two strikes on Kirk. 2 outs in the first inning. And Bo Bichette on first base. 0-0 game, Blue Jays and Phillies, as the lefty Luzardo steps on the hill and Kirk asks for time. It's granted by Adrian Johnson. Kirk never left the box, though, and Luzardo stayed fixed on the rubber. Now he puts his hands together at his belt. A look at Bichette. The lefty looks home and offers. Swing and a miss. He got him. Back foot sweeper gets Kirk to end the inning. Blue Jays get a leadoff base hit, but they leave Bichette on first, 0-0 after an inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NBA Finals are on Sirius XM.
Behind the board, knocks down an 8-foot jumper. SGA has come to play tonight, baby.
It's MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the Thunder.
This dude is the best player in the league right now.
And Tyrese Halliburton and the Pacers.
Halliburton unloads a 3. Oh, that did not happen.
It's Game 1 tonight at 8:30 Eastern on NBA Radio Channel 86. Hear the Pacers and Thunder announcers on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app. Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on Sirius XM. We're back on the track Sunday.
1 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Firekeepers Casino 400
from Michigan International Speedway on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 and on the Sirius XM app. For up-to-date betting lines, fantasy plays, and the latest NASCAR news, catch the pre-race show before every Cup Series race. Plus, 2 hours of post-race coverage on Sirius XM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is Sirius XM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
The second inning is presented by Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet on popular markets like hits, home runs, and total bases. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. First pitch of the inning, hit on the ground by Kyle Schwarber. Fielded up the middle, Bo Bichette. He tosses to first. And very quickly, Bassett has the first out of the frame.
Another good sinker. That sinker's really working today. The velo's not overpowering. That one was 92 miles an hour, but you can see at the very tail end of that fastball, it just runs away, misses the barrel of a big Kyle Schwarber.
That's Chris LaRue. I'm Ben Schulman. No score, Blue Jays and Phillies. Top of the second. Pitch to Alec Bohm. Outside, ball one. Mentioned in the first, Bassett pretty familiar with a lot of these guys. This is his 7th start against the Philadelphia Phillies, all of them coming 2022 or later. 1-0. Just low, 2 balls, no strikes. Significance of that, Bassett joins the New York Mets for a 1-year stint in 2022. And in 4 outings against the Phillies, carved them up. A 1.5 ERA and a 3-0 record in 4 games. He's pitched twice against the Phillies as a Blue Jay. 1 win, 1 no decision. Next pitch, chopped toward third base. Clement backs up, takes it chest high, long toss to first, and he gets it there in time to beat Bohm. 2 down.
And I know it's pretty early in this ball game, but he's looking really good so far. Another good sinker on the inside part of the plate. Ties up Bohm.
It's a team he's dominated to a 2.36 ERA in 6 starts. And you think about 2022 to now, the Phillies over that run have been one of the best teams in baseball. Won a pennant in that time. And pretty much all of these big boppers like Castellanos have been on the team. The pitch. Poked out toward right field. That one's going to drop in just inside the line and bounce into the retaining wall. Castellanos looking for second. Davis Schneider picks it up, tosses to second base, but it's not in time, and it'll be a bloop double for the Phillies right fielder.
That's about as lucky as it gets. Just sticks the bat out off the plate on that slow breaking ball. A little bit of a cue shot over Vladimir Guerrero Jr. for a double.
Castellanos beat me to the punch. I was going to say he's dominated every Philly, or a lot of the Phillies, but Castellanos not one of them. Came into this game hitting .323 against Bassett in 31 at-bats. He adds to that with the double here, and now he's in scoring position with 2 outs for Max Kepler. Bassett steps off, literally just shows the ball to Castellanos. No one was covering, no fake throw. And they'll reset.
When Castellanos got to second base after hitting that double, he looked back at the Phillies dugout, kind of just shrugged his shoulders.
Maybe not time for your double celebration. Pitch to Kepler. Outside, ball 1. Max Kepler, the left fielder, batting .219 this year, .691 OPS, 12 doubles, 6 home runs. A long-time Minnesota Twin, a couple times rumored to be wanted by the Blue Jays. 1-0 pitch is way high, 2-0. But trades never materialized between the Twins and Blue Jays, and then Kepler winded up with the Phillies in the offseason on a 1-year deal. Bassett sets, looks back at Castellanos, and offers a 2-0. Drilled out to right field. Going back, Springer has a little room in front of the track, and he'll make the catch with one hand to end the inning. No runs, a Nick Castellanos double. He is left on second, and we have a scoreless game, middle of the second inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Insulation that does more than keep you warm? That's Rock Wool Stone Wool. Fire-resistant, soundproof, moisture-repellent, built to handle what other insulations can't. Whether it's for a reno, a new build, or the peace and quiet you've been dreaming of, Rock Wool Insulation delivers serious performance where it counts. Insulation with a reputation. Get it where the smart builders shop at Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Lights up, let's go to Junior J Sundays. It's family fun throughout the ballpark with games and activities that your squad will never forget.
Feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
Hi, this is Jeff Hoffman, and you're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the second inning, Ernie Clement leading off. Scoreless ball game. Here's the pitch from Jesus Luzardo. Hit back foul, 0-1. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. No score, Blue Jays and Phillies. It'll be Ernie Clement, Davis Schneider, and Miles Straw hitting for Toronto. Luzardo, the lefty, kicks and deals. Outside. 1 ball and 1 strike. Blue Jays will send 9 guys to hit right against Luzardo today. 7 right-handed hitters, 2 switch hitters as Clement lifts the 1-1 down the right field line. Moving toward foul territory, Castellanos straddling the chalk, makes the catch, just foul, and there's 1 out.
Another pretty good changeup from Luzardo. Tough to wait back on that pitch because it looks like a fastball. It comes out of the same slot, has the same movement, really, but it's about 7 or 8 miles an hour slower.
We'll probably see a lot of that changeup because of the number of righties. It's his third most used pitch, but to right-handed hitters, his second most used pitch. Pitch to Davis Schneider is a 97-mile-per-hour fastball, swing and a miss, strike one.
It's a really good fastball, though.
It is. The wind and the 0-1. Upstairs. Jesus Luzardo, born in Lima, Peru, to parents from Venezuela. 1-1. Swinging a liner headed to left, late break Kepler, and it gets down in front of him, bounces around past him. Schneider thinks about second, but he'll stop at first with a base hit.
Another good swing for Davis Schneider. He's obviously seeing the baseball very well right now, making good decisions up there. Max Kepler bobbled that ball, didn't get far enough away from him for Davis Schneider to get to second base, but that is a good thing for John Schneider if you can see Davis Schneider in that lineup.
That was the changeup again. Left that one a little bit up, and Schneider stayed back on it. Second Blue Jays hit today, 1 on, 1 out. Pitch to Miles Straw is smoked. Out to right center field in the gap and down, bouncing into the fence. Schneider headed to third. Big wave by Carlos Fabulous. Relay to the plate. Not in time. Head first dive home by Davis Schneider. 1-0 Blue Jays on a Miles Straw RBI double in the second.
Well, I could see Carlos Fabulous waving Davis Schneider around third base, and I thought, oh boy, that was a perfect relay from Brandon Marsh out in center field. Luckily, Davis Schneider just got in there with a headfirst slide.
It went Marsh to Stott to Marchand, the catcher, and the Phillies didn't make a mistake, but that ball bounced around enough to score Schneider. And now the first pitch to Jonathan Clase is outside, ball one.
And that's why Carlos Fabulous gets the big bucks, and I'm up here judging his every move.
He was moving. 1-0. Called a strike. Miles Straw dancing around a little bit at second base. Technically, Bryson Stott, the second baseman's holding him on, but he is playing fairly far off the bag. Now Stott creeps over a little closer. I'll look back at second, Luzardo. And the 1-1 to Clase. Fouled back, 1-2.
How about that swing from Clase, trying to go big fly against a really tough left-hander.
It was a four-seamer down the middle.
He's allowed to. Yeah. I'm not saying he's not allowed to. He's more than welcome to have that kind of swing.
Switch hitter Clase batting right. The 1-2. Just outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Clase adjusts his batting gloves. Red batting gloves for the switch hitter. Wears a blue arm sleeve on his left arm, covered by a blue elbow protector. 2-2. High and outside, ball 3. New baseballs for Adrian Johnson. Jesus Luzardo, Peruvian born of Venezuelan descent, but raised in Florida, steps back onto the hill. Former third rounder by the Nationals in 2016 out of Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. 3-2. Hit on the ground towards short. Backing up, it's backhanded by Turner. Crow hop and missile over to first just in time to get the speedy Clase 2 down.
It almost looked like for a split second Trey Turner forgot how much speed Jonathan Clase has. He looked up and thought, oh boy, got rid of it really quickly, threw a seed across the diamond to Bryce Harper.
Known more for his bat, but Trey Turner, a very good shortstop up the middle as well. He stays deep in the hole with the switch hitting catcher Tyler Heineman up to hit for the first time this month. The pitch. High and outside, ball 1.
I believe Anthony Rizzo went to that same high school that Luzardo went to.
I believe you're right.
I know we could Google it. I know we could look it up. I just haven't done that
I'll
yet.
get it for you. 1-0. Called a strike. 1-1. He did, as did big prospect Kobe Mayo for the Baltimore Orioles. One. Heineman drills it left center field. This could be trouble. It's down in the gap. Coming around third, Straw scores. Heineman digging for second, slides in there with an RBI double. Like he never left, Tyler Heineman returns and delivers again. It's 2-0 Blue Jays on a second RBI double this inning.
My goodness, stay hot, Tyler Heineman. His 5th double of the season, rips that four-seam fastball into the gap for a 2-out double, an RBI, and a 2-0 Blue Jays lead. What a swing.
I think he might be back up to 400 with that hit. Not a lot of at-bats, but he is making them count.
Get him on your All-Star ballot. Come on.
You can write in. I will say, if you want to vote for the All-Star game, MLB.com/all-star/ballot. First pitch to Bo Bichette, hit high, center field. Marsh going back, looking up at the wall. It's gone! Big fly, Bo Bichette, his 8th of the season, and the Blue Jays blow it open to a 4-0 second inning lead.
Well, Bo Bichette got that hanger, that hanging sweeper from Luzardo, and he ripped it the other way into the gap over that fence. Took a split second to watch it, 3 or 4 slow steps. What a swing. Blue Jays are hot right now.
No home runs after March, April. 8 of them for Bichette since the start of May. Vlad Guerrero Jr. up, takes downstairs, ball 1. Luzardo looking to regroup, his 1-0. Swing and a liner out to left. Kepler was playing deep, so he'll catch it almost in place, about 5 feet from the track to end the inning. The Blue Jays, though, get 4 on 4 hits. RBI doubles from Straw and Heineman before a 2-run homer by Bo Bichette. Nobody left on base. 4-0 Blue Jays as we go to the 3rd. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Of all the things that Timber Mart can lend a hand to build, community ranks among the most important. And with the Timber Mart Local Leaders Initiative, we strive to recognize those dedicated to making their hometowns a better place to live, work, and play. From now to June 25th, you can vote to select our grand prize winner. They'll receive a $10,000 grant to support their outstanding initiative as Timber Mart's Local Leader of the Year. To vote, visit local-leaders.com. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Runner going, throw down to second. They got him.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to Rogers Center. A lot going on already as we start the 3rd. The Blue Jays lead the Phillies 4-0. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Brandon Marsh leading off, squares to bunt, pulls it back, and takes strike 1 out of the hand of Chris Bassett. Marsh, a good stand-in for Jack Sparrow. Long beard, long, wet hair seemingly coming out of the back of his helmet. The 0-1. Check swing, pitches high, 1 ball, 1 strike. Holds his hands high, batting from the left side, 1-1. Swing and a miss. Bassett got him way out in front on that curve, 1-2.
I know we've done this before, but it's always fun to go back and look at what Brandon Marsh looked like when he was with the Angels.
Yeah. It's like when you look at young pictures of James Harden pre-beard.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the biggest hair guy, both facial hair and regular hair in the game. 1-2. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
I mean, he is from South Georgia. That's a look down there for sure.
I like it. He could He could set up the equipment for a Florida Georgia Line concert tomorrow, and I'd have no idea he was out of place. 2-2. High, 3 balls and 2 strikes. Marsh drags his bat across the plate, looks out to Chris Bassett. Bassett's retired 6 of 7 rather, coming into this inning. Gave up the 1 bloop double to Castellanos. 3-2. Inside, ball 4, leadoff walk.
Well, Chris Bassett's really frustrated with that at-bat. Got ahead of Brandon Marsh and then lost him. Obviously not what you want to do to the leadoff hitter. Nobody out in this inning.
Especially coming off a 4-run inning by your team. You're taking a 4-0 lead. You do really want to attack the bottom of the order right now. I think he wanted to. I don't think he was pitching around him. He just missed. Rafael Marchand is up, backup catcher for the Phillies. And Bassett's going to step off before the first pitch. Marchand from Venezuela faces the first pitch and takes it just inside, ball 1. Backstop's a switch hitter. He's batting from the left side. Good chance he was going to play today anyway, but JT Realmuto had to leave yesterday's game early. Now Marchand takes a strike. It's 1-1. Realmuto got a foul ball off of the right thigh or groin area and exited the game in the 9th inning. But the Phillies didn't make a move, so it seems like it's a minor thing at best. 1-1 pitch in there again, and Bassett ahead of Marchand, 1-2. "26-year-old from Venezuela, 5'9", 170 pounds. Marchand looks out to Bassett. The 1-2. Swing and a grounder, foul. Threw the curveball over the heart of the plate. Marchand just stayed on it long enough to roll it foul.
It's probably not the location that Chris Bassett wanted. Tyler Heineman was actually had that glove below the strike zone, but still a really effective pitch just because it's so slow.
It's really hard to keep that pitch fair. Your timing has to be really good or you're just going to be way out in front. Marchand first, no outs. Bassett steps off and again shows the ball to Marsh, the runner, but does not throw over to first. Bassett asking how many disengagements he's used. He gets the reply of 2 from Adrian Johnson, so he can't use another unless he picks off Marsh. If he didn't get him, it would be a balk. 1-2 pitch. High, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Marsh does have a little bit of speed over there. Not a burner, but he could steal a bag if you forget about him.
He's got 2 of them this year. He's been caught once. Had a quick conversation with Dusty Wathan over at first. And now the 2-2. Just low. Sinker drop below the zone. It's a really good take by Marchand. Full count.
That was almost it almost looked like a guy that was fooled by that pitch. It was a very good take.
Might have been, but I'll give him the credit because I'll never know. 3-2 pitch. Marsh takes off, and the pitch is grounded to third. Clement picks it up. His only play is first. Tosses over there, and Heineman sprints over to cover the third base bag. Marsh got to second, but never made a move for third. There's 1 down.
That's a really good pitch. His sinker is probably the best I've seen it this season. Not in terms of the velocity, but the command, the sink on it. Really awkward swing there from Marchand. Ernie Clement, of course, the vacuum over there, makes an easy play.
They get Chris Bassett a new baseball, and Tyler Heineman settles in behind home plate. Top of the order coming up for the Phillies. 4-0 Blue Jays in the third. Here's Bryson Stott. The pitch. Outside, ball 1. This third inning brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Mississauga on Lakeshore Road and on Watline Avenue. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center. Visit crown.com. Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. 1-0. Popped up, a mile high, middle of the diamond. Bo Bichette moving in, Standing on the baseline in between second and third, he backpedals and makes the catch. 2 down.
That's the one right there. That's where you want to throw that cutter in off the plate. Really ties up Bryson Stott. Just hits a weak pop-up to shortstop. Bo Bichette with the easy catch for the second out of the inning.
Tyler Heineman comes out from behind the plate, just reminding everyone the outs in the inning. Puts 2 fingers up for 2 outs. And now Trey Turner to the plate. 0 for 1 today, a ground out to shortstop. 4-0 Blue Jays. Brandon Marchand second. Bassett staring at him. Now the righty offers. Swing and a miss. Tied him up completely on that curveball. Turner was trying his best to hold up, and he swung that in slow motion as he went through. So Bassett ahead of him, 0-1. He kicks and delivers. Swing and a fly ball deep right field. Springer back on the warning track, and he'll reach out to make the catch a couple of feet from the fence. It got close, but Turner's fly ball kept in the yard is scoreless. Top of the third, no hits, 1 left. 4-0 Blue Jays, middle of the third inning. You're listening to the Blue Jays, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Sports are all about moments.
One of the most incredible, miraculous finishes we have ever seen.
And you can hear them all.
He scores! Alex Ovechkin! There's a new goal-scoring champion!
As they happen.
Oh my goodness! Shohei Ohtani, a sayonara swing!
Live in the moment.
Rory McIlroy on his knees. He's won the Masters.
With live sports on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
In a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on Sirius XM Channel 89 and every morning on the Sirius XM app.
Baseball is back. It's former general manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former big league GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden, Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the Sirius XM app.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
4-0 Blue Jays. Bottom of the third inning in Toronto. Jesus Luzardo deals to George Springer, and a check swing bouncer goes foul. A look up in disgust by Springer, who accidentally falls behind 0-1. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. Home plate is home plans. Score the run with Timbermart.ca. Find a major league selection of winning plays for house, garage, and backyard sheds. Visit Timbermart.ca and win the game with Canada's Building Center. Next pitch at the knees, called a strike, 0-2. We mentioned MLB All-Star voting has opened up. George Springer, one of the guys who has a decent shot for the Blue Jays to be a starter. 0-2. In the dirt, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Hitting .250 coming into this game with an .830 OPS, 12 doubles, 8 homers, 24 RBIs, and 7 stolen bases. One-two pitch. Called strike 3. That pitch looked low of the zone, and Springer with a yell in frustration talking to Adrian Johnson the whole way as he goes back to the dugout. Johnson is getting pretty close to throwing him out. And John Schneider has come out to try and get in the way of this and keep George Springer in the game. Johnson took the mask off, turned, brought the hand up. I thought for a second Springer was headed back into the clubhouse.
He actually had that pointer finger against his lips saying, no more.
First pitch to Alejandro Kirk is bounced through the right side of the infield and into right for a base hit. This guy just keeps on rolling. First hit today for Kirk.
And he continues to go the other way. I know that early on in his career, he was known as a pull-happy hitter, but he's really done a good job taking those pitches on the outside part of the plate like he did last night against Jordan Romano. Very similar approach there against Luzardo.
Kirk, the DH on first base, 1 out, and the pitch to Ernie Clement. Lined, left side, and down in foul territory. That one hung up for a little bit. Kirk had already rounded second, and Clement was all the way to first before the third base ump, Paul Clemens, threw both hands up in the air.
Ben, who do you think is the biggest dark horse in terms of all-star voting on this Blue Jays roster?
So no pitchers are involved in the voting. Right. That's what I'll say. So it has to be position players that are in the mix. 0-1 to Clement. Fouled off, 0-2. You know, if he was available to vote, I might say Ernie Clement, who entered today as the WAR leader, wins above replacement leader on the Blue Jays, but he is not listed as one of their players. Kind of, utility guys get kind of burned by that. So I think I'd probably go Addison Barger. He is listed as the Blue Jay third baseman. The 0-2 outside to Clement. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Barger has the hill to climb of Alex Bregman and Jose Ramirez being at his position. He's been great, and he could very well be a reserve. 1-2. Low, 2 balls, 2 strikes. But if I'm being honest, if I woke up on the day that voting ended and Barger had beat out Jose Ramirez and Alex Bregman for votes, I'd be a little surprised. Those are 2 of the better third basemen of this generation. 2-2. Line drive, left center field. Kepler on the run. It's down for a base hit. Kirk turns around second and heads for third. Ernie Clement races into second with a stand-up double. Blue Jays have 2 in scoring position, only 1 out.
Well, speaking of potential all-stars, Alejandro Kirk standing at third base, Ernie Clement standing at second base. Those 2 guys just continue to hit the ball hard. I'm actually surprised that Alejandro Kirk got to third base.
Good news for the Blue Jays. That one hung up. It went deep into left center. Split Kepler and Marsh. Kepler fielded it before getting it back in. Infield moves in for the Phillies. Pitch to Davis Schneider is inside, ball 1. Kirk on third, Clement on second. Blue Jays would love to add. Already up 4-0 in the bottom of the third. Low, 2 balls, no strikes.
Davis Schneider now 5 for 22 on the season, a home run. The batting average is now .227.
And so 5 for 22 on the year. Since returning for this second stint with the Blue Jays, Schneider is 4 for 7. 2-0. Check swing. Pitch called a strike. It was right on the outside corner. Good pitch. 2-1. Schneider leans back on his right leg. 2-1. Takes it again. Called a strike again. Backdoor sweeper to make it 2-2.
That's a tough pitch. That's a tough pitch to square up. It starts off the plate and kind of just comes over the outside third. Actually, a pretty good take.
2-2. Hit foul. Went with the fastball. Center cut. Schneider a little late on it. Wouldn't blame him if he was looking for the sweeper. That's the big strikeout pitch for Luzardo. 34 of his 81 strikeouts had come on that sweeper entering this game.
Luzardo was actually trying to come inside with that fastball. That four-seamer at 97. Unfortunately for Davis Schneider, didn't square it up, but that's the pitch you want. That's the mistake you want from Luzardo.
Luzardo checks the runners. Second and third, 1 out. 2-2. Foul back again. 97. Top of the zone. Middle of the zone in terms of east to west. Schneider just missed it.
Another mistake, but it's really tough to catch up to 97 when you're thinking change-up sweeper, protecting that inside part of the plate.
6 pitch at bat so far for Davis Schneider. Kirk on third, Clement on second. 2-2 again. High and outside. That breaking ball slipped out of the hand of Luzardo. It's 3-2. Schneider singled back in the second inning after a Miles Straw double. He came in to score as the Blue Jays' first run. 3-2. High ball 4. He'll take a walk, and the bases are loaded.
That was a great at-bat from Davis Schneider. Fouled off a couple of tough fastballs in the upper 90s, and then took 2 not great sweepers, but still, it's the mix from Luzardo is tough to handle. When you have that big fastball in the back of your mind, you tend to get antsy out in front, and you tend to swing at those sweepers regardless of whether they're out of the zone or not. A good at-bat from Davis Schneider.
Mound visit now after Luzardo issues the walk to load the bases. So with 1 out, we hand it over to Chris.
The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill, 100% Canadian-owned and operated since 1992. It's the return of the Big Cluckin' Deal. All-you-can-eat wings are on now for a limited time. Visit stlouiswings.com for details. You are welcome.
We can start with the events late last night, where in overtime, in the final minute of overtime, Leon Draisaitl scored on a feed from Connor McDavid. The Oilers won Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals, 4-3. The final score, 2 goals for the potential MVP Draisaitl, 2 assists for Connor McDavid. And although it went 7 last year, it's the first time that the Oilers have led the Stanley Cup Final over the Florida Panthers in the back-to-back matchups. First pitch to Miles Straw, called a strike, or pardon me, swing and a miss. It's 0-1.
Did you actually watch that game?
I did.
Are you still on a break with hockey?
No, I stayed up.
Oh, okay.
I'm back.
You guys are back together.
0-1 pitch served out to right field. Down for a base hit. Coming in to score, Kirk. Clement right behind him. Throw to the plate, cut off. 2-run single for Miles Straw. Kirk and Clement score. All the way to third goes Davis Schneider. Straw's got 3 RBIs, and the Blue Jays have a 6-0 lead in the third.
I mean, this is just incredible against one of the game's best young pitchers. Miles Straw just taking that tough pitch down and away and hammering it the other way. A sinking fastball at 95 miles an hour. Miles Straw continues to swing the bat well.
It's been such a valuable player for the Blue Jays on both sides of the baseball. He's on first, Schneider's on third. Jonathan Clase's up. The pitch. Straw takes off for second. Pitch inside. Fake throw by Marchand and a head first dive for a stolen base into second for Miles Straw. His 5th stolen base of the year in 6 tries.
He got a really good jump off of Luzardo. Went first move. Stole that base easily. No throw.
Infield in, 1-0. Down and in, 2 balls, no strikes. '23-year-old Jonathan Clase, 0 for 1 today. 2-0 pitch, swing and a miss. Big hack there, got out in front on a breaking ball, 2-1. Could do some more out-of-town scoreboard checks in a second. First, a big spot for Clase, who's got 5 RBIs this year. Takes the 2-1 in, 3 balls and 1 strike.
And I guess now the question is, do you give Jonathan Clase the green light here, 3-0? I would imagine not, but I'd still love to see it. Sorry, 3-1. Never mind.
The pitch. Outside, ball 4. Another walk issued this inning by Luzardo. And these aren't exactly borderline pitches. That'll load the bases again for one of the Blue Jays' best hitters this year. It's catcher Tyler Heineman.
Jesus Luzardo has had 2 really tough starts. 12 earned runs and 3 1/3 in his last game. 6 earned runs in 2 1/3 in this game. And now the bases loaded and just 1 out in this inning.
He's had ups and downs in his career, but not this violently in one season. And now Marchand is going to race out to the mound and try and get on the same page with the pitcher Luzardo. Tyler Heineman takes off his helmet and chats with Adrian Johnson. So we can go back to the out-of-town scoreboard quickly. One final today. Arizona Diamondbacks with an improbable win over the Atlanta Braves. Diamondbacks trailed 6-0 early, and then going into the 9th inning, they trailed 10-4 and scored 7 runs in the 9th. 5 on Scott Blewett, or 4 of them on Scott Blewett, 3 on Raisel Iglesias to win the game. Pitch to Heineman, fouled back, 0-1. Tyler Heineman with an RBI double in the second inning. He's hitting .408 in 49 at-bats this year. He's got an OPS near 1,000. Right in all-star vote for you, Chris, Tyler Heineman? One pitch is high. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, I don't know if he should be on the roster, but he should be there. Just get him a ticket to Atlanta. How about that?
Bases loaded, 1 down, 1-1. Check swing, pitch, bounce down and in. Appeal to first. No swing, says Quinn Walcott. 2 balls and a strike.
Tyler Heineman actually pointed down to the first base umpire, Quinn Walcott. It's interesting when guys do that.
Near Walcott leading off first, Jonathan Clase. 2-1 pitch, hit high in the air, shallow left field, ranging out Turner. Kepler coming in. Turner drops it off the glove. It's bouncing down on the turf. In to score Schneider. Straw sprinting in behind him. A 2-run bloop single, and it's 8-0 Blue Jays with 2 still aboard in the third.
Well, when you're hot, you're hot. Tyler Heineman didn't hit that ball very hard, but he got it in the right spot. 8 earned runs now for Luzardo. I imagine that's going to be a base hit. Would be tough if they gave that an error on Trey Turner, but how about Tyler Heineman? I'm writing him in.
For the life of me, though, I can't understand how Turner is the one getting to that ball and not Kepler. Kepler was playing a little far away, but he slowed up and let Turner play that ball about 100 feet behind Turner's starting position in left. Blue Jays make it 8-0, and Rob Thompson is going to make a pitching change. It's brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. 8-0 Blue Jays in the third, 2 on, 1 out. Let's go back to today's host, Show Ali.
Thanks very much, guys. Let's continue checking on that St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Ben and Chris were talking about the Stanley Cup Final, again, a 4-3 win for Edmonton. 2 goals from Draisaitl. Game 2 will go tomorrow night, Friday night. Puck drop goes just after 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 Pacific. We also have some signings to announce in the PWHL. Seattle and Vancouver have signed a number of players in the league's expansion period, which is exclusive to these 2 teams. Vancouver has signed the first 4 players in team history. Defenders Claire Thompson, Sophie Jacques, goaltender Emerance Mashmeyer, and forward Sarah Nurse as well. Thompson, Mashmeyer, Nurse are all gold medalists, having won with Team Canada in 2022 in Beijing. The next step for Seattle and Vancouver will be on June 9th. That's Monday, when the PWHL expansion draft will take place. We don't get a lot of NFL updates at this time of year, but a few for us today. Multiple NFL insiders reporting today that Aaron Rodgers has made a decision, as has been widely speculated. He will sign with the Steelers on a 1-year deal. So the 4-time MVP landing with Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. Lots of primetime Steelers games on the schedule. So get used to seeing Rodgers in the yellow and black this year. And we did get another update out of Indianapolis today. Mini camps are slated for next week. Not the most positive update. It was announced today that quarterback Anthony Richardson had suffered an injury to his throwing shoulder last week. It was the same AC joint he had injured previously, so he will be absent from minicamps next week. Daniel Jones, free agent addition, will assume QB1 duties in his absence. Colts head coach Shane Steichen saying he doesn't think surgery is required at the moment. Blue Jays baseball brought to you by Crown Rust Protection. Let's get you back to the Rogers Center with the call. Here are Ben Schulman and Chris LaRue.
Luzardo knocked out of this ball game in the middle of the third inning. Max Lazar is on for the Phillies, making his 2nd appearance of the series and 5th of the season. The righty with an ERA just above 5.5. 8-0 for the Blue Jays. 1st and 2nd, 1 out. And in the 3rd inning, the top of the order will come up for the 3rd time. Bo Bichette, who's already singled and hit a 2-run homer today, walks to the plate. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside former Major League pitcher Chris LaRue. Clase on second and Heineman on first. 1 out. The pitch. High. Check swing by Bichette. Ball 1. Blue Jays saw Max Lazar in game 1 of this series. He threw an inning, allowed 2 earned runs. An Addison Barger homer. 1-0. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Although that wasn't a game that was already out of question, really. The Phillies were up 8-1 when Barger hit a fastball above the zone out of the yard. Bichette just tried to do the same thing on a high fastball. Now the 1-1 pitch from the tall righty. Called a strike.
Jesus Luzardo has given up 8 earned runs in this ballgame. Like we mentioned, 12 earned runs in his last start. And he still has 2 guys on base, first and second.
Unbelievable, considering how his year started. The 1-2. Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
It's a pretty good take from Bo Bichette. Not a bad curveball.
The mix for Lazar, 4-seam curve cutter, 4 seams in the mid-90s. Throws it about 60% of the time. 2-2. Sprayed foul. Bichette reaches up for a cutter and hits it away behind home plate. Into the seats. It's still 2 balls and 2 strikes.
How about Bo Bichette? Like you mentioned earlier, 8 home runs this season already.
After none in all of March, April. 2-2. Hit deep, foul down the right field line. Just to circle back to Luzardo, so you mentioned he's given up 8 today, 12 in his last start. That's 20 earned runs in a 2-start span. Could give up 2 more. In his first 11 starts this year, he gave up 16 earned runs. 11 starts. 2-2 in the dirt. Good sliding block to the right by the catcher Marchand. Ball 3.
Well, I'm sure the Phillies coaches on the pitching side in that dugout right now are scratching their head trying to figure out what is up with Jesus Luzardo. The stuff is good still. He had plus stuff today.
Lazar's 3-2. Bichette fouls it off once more, sending that one into the seats over the netting right side.
They have to figure out if he's tipping his pitches, if the location of those pitches just isn't right. There's a lot of things, but when a guy has stuff like Luzardo and he's giving up 20 earned runs in just over 5 innings, that's a problem.
Payoff pitch. Spray back up the middle, picked on a bounce by Bohm, the second baseman. Flips to Turner for 1, over to first for a nice 4-6-3 inning-ending double play. Blue Jays with a big inning, though. They get 4 runs on 4 hits, knocking Jesus Luzardo out of the game and taking an 8-0 lead to the 4th inning. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
After another thrilling horse racing finish at the Preakness.
Oh my goodness! Journalism has won!
What's in store for the 3rd leg of the Triple Crown?
And they're off in the Belmont Stakes.
Start your Belmont morning on Sirius XM, Saturday at 10 Eastern, with a special 4-hour edition of Down the Stretch on Channel 85. Then at 4, hear the pre-race coverage of the Belmont Stakes on Fox Sports Radio Channel 83 and the Sirius XM app. Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
Hello, children. I'm Alice Cooper. Rocco Mediate and I are talking golf, music, and more on Rolling the Rock.
Jake Trout and the Flounders.
Oh, sure, yeah.
They were pretty good, except for Payne Stewart. I said, Payne, you're one of the nicest people I've ever met. You are one of the worst harmonica players ever on the planet.
Listen to Rolling the Rock on PGA Tour Radio or anytime on the SiriusXM app. And you better listen, because we know where you live.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the Sirius XM app.
The 4th inning is presented by Bet365. With Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and you can even make a bet while the game's still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Pitch to Bryce Harper to start the 4th. Popped up, foul. Behind home plate, headed in our direction. It'll drop below our feet. Strike 1. Blue Jays 8, Phillies nothing. You heard that right. Blue Jays with 4 runs in each of the last 2 frames. knocked Jesus Luzardo, the Phillies starter, out of the game. 0-1. Hit sharply on the ground. Diving stop at third. Clement pops up, throws to first to get Bryce Harper. And there's one out.
Ernie Clement is so smooth with the glove at second base, at third base, even at shortstop. He is incredible. I really do hope he makes the All-Star team. I don't know if he will or not, but he's just one of those guys that you just hope all the best for.
Here's what I will say. I don't know if he'll make the All-Star team. He'd have to make it as a reserve. I don't think he'll get enough write-in votes. Pitch to Kyle Schwarber. Called a strike, 0-1. But I will say, while admitting that I don't know how well every utility guy on every team in the American League is doing, he feels like he should be the utility Gold Glover this year. He was a finalist last year. He's so good at multiple spots. 0-1. Popped up foul. Back behind the plate out of play. 0-2. I mean, he could nearly play enough third base to be in that conversation, considering a couple years back, Ramon Urias took a Gold Glove off Matt Chapman despite starting fewer than 90 games at third. Just everything hit his way. The play is made. 0-2 to Schwarber. Check swing, and he went around. Strike 3. Bassett elevates the cutter and gets Schwarber for the second out of the inning.
How about Chris Bassett navigating this good Phillies lineup? Kyle Schwarber's looked bad twice today.
Schwarber came into the day really owning Bassett in his career. Was 7 for 16 entering this game. Make that 7 for 18 now. Pitch to Alec Bohm. Low ball 1. Bohm, the third baseman, hitting with 2 outs and the bases empty. 8-0 Blue Jays. Top of the 4th. Bassett offers home. Inside, Bohm jumped back out of the way, almost stumbled over as he moved his legs away from that sinker. It's 2-0.
So talking about Ernie Clement and whether he deserves to be an All-Star or not, I can't help but think about Brock Holt in 2015. He was an All-Star in 2015, a very similar player.
2-0. Fouled off to the right, 2-1.
Very good defensively, can play anywhere on the diamond, pretty good with the bat. Tough situations, he'll sneak a base hit through the hole somewhere. And if you look at his 2015 numbers, he hit 280, a couple of home runs, 45 RBIs.
2-1 pitch, fouled back, still 2-2.
Was an All-Star.
Can I give you another comparable?
Sure.
2022 Santiago Espinal.
Yeah.
An All-Star in the American League. Contact hitter mostly, plus defender at 3 different infield spots. Now, Espinal had to make it as an injury replacement, but he made it. 2 outs, the 2-2 to Bohm. Foul back.
And I've always been a big Ernie Clement fan, so I secretly think that Ernie Clement may be better than both of those players.
I think there's a good argument. Another 2-2 pitch. Just down, ball 3. But it is tough as a more defensively inclined player to make the All-Star game. It is often a showcase of the game's best offensive players rather than always the game's best overall players. 3-2 pitch. High ball 4. I mean, as evidence to that, you go on the All-Star voting page, MLB.com/all-star/ballot. Vote 5 times a day. It's real easy.
Can you repeat that?
MLB.com/all-star/ballot. There you go. Or just Google MLB All-Star voting. That's what I do. But you go on there, they list everyone's average, home runs, RBIs, OPS. It says nothing of what kind of defender they are. I don't even believe it shows stolen bases on that page. I could be wrong on that one, but definitely nothing about the defense. So there's no consideration to which of the players are best defenders if you're scanning through. You're just looking at overall offensive numbers. 2 down, and the pitch to Nick Castellanos, a former All-Star. He brings the hands in to move out of the way of a sinker inside. Ball 1. 8-0 Blue Jays, top of the 4th. 2 outs, and Alec Bohm on first. Bassett's 1-0. Foul back by Castellanos, 1-1.
Good fastball there on the inside part of the plate. You can see how excited Tyler Heineman is when Chris Bassett makes a good pitch. When it's a big pitch like that 3-2 count to Alec Boehm, who's standing at first base, he called the pitch, set that glove up, and then did a fist pump. I love when Tyler Heineman does that. He's really active out there.
1-1. Hit hard through the right side of the diamond and into right field, a base hit. Up to second base goes Boehm, stopping at first Castellanos, 2 aboard with 2 outs.
It's a pretty good piece of hitting there. Tough sinker, took that thing the other way. There was a big hole on the right side of the infield. Castellanos has been good for a long time, taking that ball the other way. It does it right there. That was actually a great pitch, a sinker on the black inside.
Tyler Heineman's going to go out to the hill, pull the mask up, and talk to Chris Bassett. Perhaps just giving him a little bit of a breather. Bassett had to throw 7 pitches to Boehm, walked him, and then 4 to Castellanos. He's approaching 20 in this inning, but he's been so efficient overall. He's only thrown 53 pitches today with 2 outs in the top of the 4th.
Well, I'm sure Tyler Heineman just went out there, like you said, to give him a little bit of a breather, and I would have just said to him, hey, that was a great pitch. Don't even worry about that. Go after this guy.
This guy is Max Kepler, German left fielder for the Phillies. 2 on, 2 out, top of the 4th inning. 8-0 Blue Jays as Bassett comes set, looks at second, and offers home. Outside, ball 1. There aren't that many Europeans that have played at the major league level, but probably more than people would think, especially in the earlier history of the major leagues. And Kepler has some high watermarks among European major leaguers. 1-0. Outside, 2-0. When he signed in 2009 for $800,000 with the Twins, it was the largest ever signing bonus given to a European player. 2016, he had a 3-homer game as a Twin, the first European player to accomplish that. Next pitch. Outside again, 3 balls, no strikes. And then in 2019, he hit 36 homers, the most ever by a European player, passing Bobby Thompson, who hit the shot heard around the world. Thompson, who was from Glasgow, Scotland, hit 32 with the New York Giants in 1951. 3-0 pitch. Called a strike, 3-1.
So recently.
It's actually 2 New York Giants references in today's game, 2 more than I would have expected.
I think you've hit your quota for the day.
That's about enough of the New York baseball Giants. First and second, 2 down, 8-0 Blue Jays. The 3-1 to Kepler is stroked out to deep left field. Going back toward the warning track, Clase onto the dirt, makes the catch just in front of the wall to end the inning. No runs on 1 hit and 2 left for the Phillies. 8-0 Blue Jays, middle of the 4th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Be at the ballpark on Wednesday, June 18th for a picture-perfect evening of Blue Jays baseball. Arrive early to receive your Kevin Gausman t-shirt giveaway. Presented by Ryobi. Free to the first 15,000 fans. Find your seats at BlueJays.com.
Decking isn't just about wood. It's about creating the perfect outdoor retreat, and it all begins with the right materials. Essentials you always find at Trex, the leader in composite decking for over 30 years. Sustainable, durable, beautiful. Trex isn't just decking, it's a lifestyle. From homeowners to pros, everyone knows Trex delivers unmatched quality. Ready to transform your backyard into a dream space? Find Trex at Timber Mart, Canada's building center, where your outdoor vision comes to life.
Be at the ballpark on Wednesday, June 18th for a picture-perfect evening of Blue Jays baseball. Arrive early to receive your Kevin Gausman t-shirt giveaway. Presented by Ryobi. Free to the first 15,000 fans. Find your seats at BlueJays.com.
Breaking news coming in from 365. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connectsontario.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Jose Barrios with a trio of strikeouts to end a scoreless 6.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. stepping into the box as we get going in the bottom of the 4th inning. 8-0 Blue Jays. The pitch from Max Lazar is a breaking ball that drops in, strike 1. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Vladdy 0 for 2 today. 0-1. Outside and low. Second inning of work for Max Lazar, the righty who winds and delivers. Swing and a deep fly ball. Center field. Marsh twisting and turning. Stops just in front of the track and makes a one-handed catch. 1 out.
Well, Vladdy just missed that. It was a four-seamer at 95 miles an hour. He just got underneath that. Brandon Marsh catching that in center field just in front of the warning track.
Big out there for Max Lazar. Rob Thompson asking Lazar to keep the Phillies pen relatively fresh. After the starter, Luzardo had to exit in the third. First pitch strike delivered to George Springer. 0-1. The Phillies pen is in an okay spot right now. 0-1. In the dirt, 1 ball, 1 strike. They did have the off day coming into this series and got 6 innings and 5 1/3 innings from Christopher Sanchez and Mick Abel, respectively. But it's a second start in a row where Luzardo leaves before finishing 4. 1-1. Swing and a high fly ball golfed out to shallow right center. Castellanos coming in, but the second baseman Stott goes out to make the play, and they're 2 down.
Max Lazar does have some starting experience. In 2023, he started 1 game. 2022, he started 9 games. And in 2019, he started 13 games, but recently hasn't started any. So you can't imagine that the Phillies are going to ask him to go 40, 50 pitches here in this ball game.
And those starts were more in the Brewers organization, the team that drafted him. Pitched Alejandro Kirk outside, ball 1. Since joining the Phillies on a minor league deal before last season, he's been exclusively a reliever. He can go long. He's thrown 45 pitches in an outing this year. 1-0. In the dirt. 2 balls and no strikes. Speaking of keeping your pitchers fresh, though, this is also absolutely huge for the Blue Jays. According to John Schneider, it's the TBD/Eric Lauer Day coming up tomorrow. 2-0 to Kirk. Called a strike, 2-1. And now the Blue Jays can probably ride Chris Bassett pretty deep into this ball game. I mean, looks like they were going to anyway. He's gone 4 shutout innings, but up 8-0, you can be a little more reckless with it. 2-1. Swinging a bouncer over the hill, up the middle, sliding back in an attempt by Stott. It goes off the glove and falls onto the turf. Infield single for Alejandro Kirk, and he's aboard with 2 outs.
This dude just continues to rake. A perfect base hit. Found that hole up the middle. Bryson Stott did everything he could. I don't know, even if he fields that ground ball, if he would have thrown Alejandro Kirk out at first base, but 2 for 3 in the ball game. Now that average back up to over 300.
Kirk taking his lead after a second hit today, and Ernie Clement up. He doubled last inning. The pitch. Down and away, ball 1. Blue Jays have 8 runs on 10 hits so far. Phillies have no runs on 2 hits. 1-0. Called a strike. 1-1.
Alejandro Kirk is now batting .301. How about that?
While his fellow backstop for the Blue Jays, Tyler Heineman, is hitting over 400. 1-1. Called a strike, 1-2. A position that was maybe one of, if not the biggest question mark for the Blue Jays coming into the year, has turned out to be one of their strongest positions, offensive and defensively, so far this year. 1-2 to Clement. Rolled over, a swinging bunt to third. This could be trouble. Bohm charging in, bare hands, fakes a throw. He'll put it in his pocket. Infield hit for Ernie Clement. Some tough luck for Lazar on back-to-back ground ball infield hits. 2 aboard for the Blue Jays with 2 down.
Ernie Clement now 2 for 3 in the ball game. His average is starting to climb. Now it's over 280. I mean, the bottom half of this lineup, I know Alejandro Kirk is no longer in the bottom half of the lineup, but the bottom half, the guys that used to be in the bottom half are really swinging the bat well.
Ernie on first, Kirk on second, Davis Schneider up. The pitch. Inside, ball 1. Schneider walked his last time up, hit a single his first time up. He's 1 for 1 with 2 runs scored. The 1-0 from Lazar. Outside. Typically when Schneider gets a start against a lefty or righty comes in, they'll take him out. But Blue Jays up 8-0 in the bottom of the fourth, so they're going to let Davis Schneider hit here. Get some reps right on right. 2-0 pitch. Called a strike. Fastball on the black outer edge. 2-1. Schneider twirls the bat around, leans back on his right leg. He awaits a 2-1. Takes it over the heart of the plate for strike 2. That time a cutter. Davis Schneider will ask for time, adjust his batting gloves. He looks out toward left center field, thinking about what he might see here from Max Lazar in a 2-2 count. 2 on, 2 out, 8-0 Blue Jays, bottom 4. Right on right, the pitch home. Swing and a miss, he got him. Cutter on the outside edge. Good pitch by Lazar. Good bounce back after a pair of infield hits by the Blue Jays. Toronto does not score in the inning on 2 hits. They leave a pair on. It's Blue Jays 8, Phillies nothing going to the 5th. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
For every fan who never stopped dreaming of her music. Siempre Selena. Timeless hits and powerful memories on a channel devoted to the voice that broke barriers and still inspires. Siempre Selena. Now for a limited time on Channel 79 and at home with SiriusXM on your phone, computer, Alexa, TV, and other internet-connected devices.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
The football talk doesn't stop on SiriusXM NFL Radio.
They're mentally tough, they're physically tough, and they're talented.
Stay informed with the latest news around the National Football League, leading up to the training camp tour.
You got to practice a certain way if you want to be winners.
Our experts are getting you ready for the 2025 season.
For the veteran players, they want to see the guy earn the job.
There's a story for every team on NFL Radio Channel 88 and the SiriusXM app.
The Blue Jays are in flight, leading 3-0.
Blue Jays fans, this is Ross Atkins, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on Sirius XM
Radio Network.
On Wednesday, June 18th, the first 15,000 fans will receive a Kevin Gausman t-shirt presented by Ryobi. A cool vintage look, a great addition to your collection. You won't find another giveaway like this one, so get your tickets now. Visit BlueJays.com/promotions. That June 18th game will be against the Arizona Diamondbacks. Right now, the Blue Jays playing an interleague game against the Philadelphia Phillies, leading 8-0, top of the 5th. Chris Bassett starts off Brandon Marsh with strike 1. I think you'd like that Kevin Gausman giveaway. I don't know if you've seen the shirt yet.
It's vintage looking.
It is. 0-1. Called a strike, 0-2.
It looks like something you'd find at a vintage shop, a secondhand used clothing store. It's something that you would like.
Yeah, it's kind of a...
Don't throw that on me. You would like that.
I would like it too. It's kind of a 90s looking graphic tee design. 0-2 pitch. Swinging bunt right in front of the plate. Heidemann ditches the mask, calls off Bassett, barehand and tossed to first on the run. Heck of a play for the first out.
Well, you mentioned how good the two backstops have been for the Toronto Blue Jays this season, not only offensively, but defensively as well. Their game calling is great. Their framing is great. Their arms are both great. And then how about that play? Out in front of home plate, on the run, throwing a strike to first base.
Heidemann's got a really good arm. He showed it off there. Now he goes to his right thigh to the pitch comm. Pressing the buttons to call the pitches for Chris Bassett as catcher Rafael Marchand steps up for the Phillies. 1 out, top of the 5th, 8-0 for the Blue Jays. Bassett staring in. Winds and delivers. Pop up left side of the infield. Can of corn for Ernie Clement. He makes the catch in place, 2 down.
Just 61 pitches on the ball game so far for Chris Bassett here in the 5th inning.
Great pace right now for Bassett, who's about to go 3rd time through the order in the 5th inning. 5th inning is brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance that's really big on care at Desjardins.com/care today. As Bassett continues to throw from the mound in the bullpen in right field, former Blue Jay Taijuan Walker loosening up for Philadelphia. Pass it to Bryson Stott. Called a strike. That was a splitter on the outside edge, 0-1. Stott will ask for time after that first pitch. Take a deep breath. He holds a torpedo bat with a dark handle and a light barrel. It's skinnier than some of the other torpedo bats, but has that patented bowling pin shape. And he takes another pitch on the outside edge. 0-2.
No comment, Ben.
We're way past the torpedo bat craze.
I thought we agreed not to mention that thing anymore.
Now that no one else is talking about it, it's cool again. 0-2. Check swing. No, he went around his home plate umpire, Adrian Johnson. That's strike 3 swinging. Stott whips down the helmet and bat. He's the 4th strikeout victim today for Chris Bassett in 5 scoreless innings. Middle of the 5th, Blue Jays 8, Phillies 0. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This is unbelievable.
The New York Knicks are relieving Tom Thibodeau of his duties as head coach.
When the sports world is talking, nobody gives you more perspectives than the experts of Sirius XM.
This is really not fair. This is really out of line.
Hear instant reaction on Mad Dog Sports Radio.
They go to the Eastern Conference Final and he decides to dump them. It's a bunch of garbage.
And expert analysis on NBA Radio.
I don't think this is about coaching as opposed to coaching style.
Live sports talk when you need it is on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app.
This is Mike Farron from Power Alley. When you work together as long as former general manager Jim Duquette and I have...
5 years.
13. Regardless, we know everything about each other, like my favorite city. New York. Chicago. My favorite food.
Hot dog with lots of ketchup.
Gross. My favorite musician.
Billy Joel.
Somehow even more gross. Jim, what do you actually know about me?
You love baseball, just like me.
Join us for baseball talk and apparently very little else on Power Alley, weekdays, 10 a.m. Eastern, MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
Well said, Mitch.
It's Mike.
The NBA Finals are here.
Oklahoma City has punched its ticket to its 2nd ever league championship series.
And so is the Stanley Cup Final.
And the Florida Panthers are going to the Stanley Cup Final for the 3rd year in a row.
Sports Grid Radio is the only place talking about the lines for each game and the odds to win it all.
I like over 5.5 games in both finals. Parlay together is plus 141.
Get the winning edge over the sports books on Sports Grid Radio, channel 159 in the car, and on the SiriusXM app.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you dominate. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
Bottom of the 5th inning in downtown Toronto, and a familiar face takes the hill for the Phillies. And a pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Rob Thompson brings the oftentimes starter, but now a reliever, Taijuan Walker, out of his pen. And he deals to Miles Straw with the Blue Jays leading 8-0. He misses outside, ball 1. Walker briefly, but very successfully, a Blue Jay. During the 2020 season, he was acquired at the deadline. 1-0. Called a strike 1-1. In his 6-start stint with the Blue Jays, he pitched to a 1.37 ERA. Righties 1-1. In the dirt, 2 balls, 1 strike. A veteran this point of about 1,200 innings. He should get to 1,200 in this appearance. 2 1/3 away from it. He's pitched with the Mariners, Diamondbacks, Mariners again, Blue Jays, Mets, and now the Phillies. He misses inside, falls behind Straw, 3 balls and a strike. He's had a really nice career.
He's had a good season, too. 2-4 with a 3.5 ERA, 8 games started, 10 total games, 43 1/3 innings.
3-1 pitch called a strike, 3-2. He's had a drop-off last year mainly, last 2 years a little bit. 23 wasn't his best. Injuries got in the way last year a bit, and they were shopping him in the offseason. His 3-2 catches the knees, strike 3. Straw did not like that call, whipping away his bat. There's one down.
Pretty good pitch, not a terrible pitch. Miles Straw acting like that was a foot outside, but maybe about a hair below that strike zone. He's slowly walking back to that Blue Jays dugout.
So 1 out and Walker to Jonathan Clase. Switch hitter turns around to hit left and takes inside, ball 1. For Taijuan Walker, it's his 228th appearance in the big leagues, only his 11th as a reliever. 1-0 pitch inside, 2-0. They were shopping him early this year because they had too many starters for the spots. But as baseball always does, injuries created opportunities, and he ended up in the rotation early. 2-0 pitch, swing and a miss, 2-1. Pitched well there, moved to the bullpen for a little, went back to the rotation, had 2 starts that were not fantastic. So they decided Mick Abel would be his starter. Instead, we saw him yesterday. 2-1, swing and a miss, 2-2.
And you can see why. Mick Abel has really, really good stuff. First round pick by the Phillies in 2020. You can bet that they're going to give him every opportunity.
But it does help the Phillies out in 2 ways also, because now they gain potentially a pretty good reliever in Walker. 2-2. Just inside, ball 3. Potentially.
We don't know.
We don't. But they're looking for more out of that bullpen overall. 25th in the majors in bullpen ERA. And Jose Alvarado has an 80-game suspension. 3-2 pitch hit foul. Still 3-2.
How many games has he missed so far, Alvarado? It's got to be about 20 now, right?
Something like that. 3-2 pitch is lined out to left center. Marsh on the run makes the catch, reaching out. Nice play to take a hit away from Jonathan Clase. And there are 2 down.
That's a good swing from Clase. Going the other way, driving the ball, barreling that thing up. Brandon Marsh with the nice play out in the gap.
Just for Alvarado, by the way, his last game was the 44th game of the season for the Phillies. I believe he was suspended right after that appearance, but in and around 20 games, a little bit below 20. 2 outs, pitch to Tyler Heineman, hit foul. He hit it off of his foot. He's going to take a walk for a moment.
It was a pretty good guesstimate, wasn't it?
It was a good estimate. Taijuan Walker does not fill Alvarado's role by any means, but when you're bottom 5 or close to bottom 5 in bullpen ERA, any consistency can be a boost. This guy hasn't pitched in relief much, but he's gotten outs consistently for a long time at the major league level. His 0-1. Hit in the air, out to left center field. Playable for Marsh. He slows into the left center gap, makes the catch with one hand, and ends the inning. 1-2-3 for the former Blue Jay, Taijuan Walker. That sends us to the 6th. Blue Jays 8, Phillies 0. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control Center is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ home hardware and building center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Sportsnet Plus is the streaming home of the Blue Jays.
Oh, what a catch!
Stream over 150 Blue Jays games all season long.
You won't see this anywhere else.
Including pre- and post-game coverage with Jamie and Joe on Blue Jays Central.
One of the best in the game right here.
Watch all the Blue Jays action wherever you are, at home or on the go.
Don't you love baseball?
Plans start from $24.99 a month.
We are good to go.
Subscribe at sportsnetplus.ca. This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Kirk smacks it down the left field line. This one's got a chance. It's good.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to downtown Toronto. It's the 6th inning, brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance that's really big on care at Desjardins.com/care today. Blue Jays 8, Phillies nothing in the rubber match. Toronto looking to keep the good times going. Chris Bassett back on the hill, and the pitch to Trey Turner. Swing and a miss, strike one. By that, I mean the Blue Jays are doing a lot more winning than losing recently. They've won 7 of 9 and 16 of their last 25 games. 0-1. Low, 1 ball, 1 strike.
Blue Jays are pitching pretty well, but they are hitting bombs, Ben.
They seriously have changed the overall offensive outlook of their team. They were bottom in a lot of offensive categories early on in the year, and now they're around middle of the pack. 1-1. Swing and a deep fly ball center field. Straw racing back toward the warning track, pulling up. It's off the fence. Turner around first in a flash. He'll stride into second with a leadoff double.
Miles Straw did a good job playing that ball off the wall. Threw that ball perfectly into second base, but Trey Turner's so quick. He's standing at second base with a leadoff double.
He is the 3rd fastest player in the game by sprint speed. And he caught a pitch there right down the middle, a sinker over the heart of the plate. It's the 3rd base hit by the Phillies today. Adrian Johnson stepping out from behind the plate. He was barking out to Bassett to get his attention because Bassett was looking to home before Harper was set and ready to go. Bassett tapped his chest indicating my bad. And now Harper steps back in. Bassett looks to second base. Rocks and offers. Down and away, ball 1. Why don't we go over to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out of town scoreboard. Blue Jays up 8-0. Nobody out runner on second, top of the 6th. American League East game. Baltimore Orioles taking on the AL West's Seattle Mariners in Seattle. First to 1-0. High, 2 balls, no strikes. Orioles won yesterday, and they're in a tie game right now. 1-1 today in Seattle. Brian Wu against Zach Eflin. Orioles run came on a Brian Wu wild pitch. And Mariners run came on an RBI single from their main man, Cal Raleigh. 2-0, fouled back. 2-1.
Don't look now, but the Orioles are hot.
They are. I mean, it's
mildly hot. They're warm. The Orioles are warm.
The Orioles are lukewarm. I mean, they've won 5 in a row. There's a lot of time left. You never know. 8 of their last 10, the Orioles have won. 2-1 pitch. Outside ball 3.
I think the biggest thing with them is they have some good players.
And they're getting some injured guys back. They just got Colton Cowser back. Zach Eflin came back a couple turns ago.
Charlie Morton is starting to pitch better.
There's clearly talent on that team. 3-1. Called a strike. Full count to Harper with Turner on second, nobody out. We'll see. You look around in general, the AL East itself is getting a little bit hot. Some have pointed to it as the most disappointing division in baseball. But maybe that tune is changing. Payoff pitch to Harper. Swing and a miss. He got him on the over-the-top curveball. And there's 1 out.
That's that curveball that I talked about before the game. It's so effective. It's so hard to wait back. Even one of the best hitters in the game, Bryce Harper, was way out in front of it. A perfect pitch right at the bottom of that strike zone for strike 3.
So 1 out. Turner still on second after his leadoff double. And speaking of the AL East, here's a former Boston Red Sox, Kyle Schwarber. Bassett looks back at the runner, kicks and deals. High ball 1. But on the AL East getting hot, exclude Boston, because really they're actually going in the wrong direction. Yankees are 7-3 in their last 10. Rays are 7-3 in their last 10. Blue Jays are 7-3 in their last 10. And the Orioles are 8-2 in their last 10. 1-0. Swing and a liner down in right field for a base hit. Getting the wave around third. Turner comes in to score. Springer throws back into second base. It's an RBI single for Kyle Schwarber. And the Phillies are on the board now 8-1 for the Blue Jays. 1 out, top of the 6th.
That actually wasn't a bad pitch. It was a sweeper inside, and Kyle Schwarber did a good job getting the bat to it. Jammed him a little bit. Just got over the outstretched glove of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at first base.
I mean, that made an ugly sound off the bat. But Schwarber is so strong, he can miss-hit balls out of the infield with ease. So he's on first with Alec Bouma. The pitch. Inside, ball 1. Other AL East action going on today on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. The Yankees and the Guardians match up later. It's Max Fried against Slade Ciccone. You have the Rays and Rangers at 7:35 Eastern as Bohm twists away from a fastball to make it 2-0. That'll be a matchup of Jack Leiter and Ryan Pepio. That should be a fun one at George M. Steinbrenner Field.
It's always a fun one at George M. Steinbrenner Field.
Ask the Blue Jays. The Red Sox are off today. Two-0 pitch. Bohm lifts it just beyond the infield, dirt into shallow left, caught by Ernie Clement, the third baseman, and there are 2 outs. And I guess one more relevant score. Blue Jays about to go to Minnesota for 3 games. The Twins are facing the A's, who the Blue Jays just swept in a 4-game set. Looking like a different A's team right now. They're up 11-1 on the Twins in the 4th inning. 6 RBIs for Tyler Soderstrom on a pair of homers. Two down, runner on first. 1 run in this inning for the Phillies. It's 8-1 Blue Jays. Chris Bassett steps off before dealing to Nick Castellanos. Former Tiger, Cub, and Red. With a couple of hits today off Chris Bassett, a double and a single. Half of the hits Philadelphia has overall. First pitch inside, ball 1. Castellanos with a slightly open stance, twists his back right foot to dig it into the dirt. 1-0. Lined right center field, down for a third. Nick Castellanos hit today. Schwarber around second, but he'll walk back to the bag. It's first and second for the Phillies with 2 outs.
And all 3 of his hits have been to the opposite field. That one right there, more to right center, but he's just been so good for so long at taking those tough pitches on the inside part of the plate, just inside outing them, a lot like Derek Jeter. Bo Bichette is very good at that. Nick Castellanos, one of the best, though.
And it'll start just a little bit of movement after that hit in the left field bullpen of the Blue Jays. No one is throwing, but saw some guys stand up off of the bullpen bench. Sweatshirt or 2 came off, and it looks like Pete Walker is on the phone now in the Blue Jays dugout. Chris Bassett's thrown 81 pitches today. 2 outs in the top of the 6th, 8-1 Blue Jays. And his pitch misses inside to Max Kepler, ball 1. Schwarber on second, Castellanos on first. Slight infield shift to the first base side against the lefty Kepler, 1-0. Bounce off of his front foot, foul. It rolls toward the third base dugout, 1-1.
I think in a perfect world, if you would have asked John Schneider before the ball game, what would make you happy in terms of how deep Chris Bassett goes into this ball game? I think get through 6. I think that would have been a great thing for John Schneider.
Bassett looks to be on track to do that. Blue Jays will heat up Mason Fluharty. He's tossing right now from in front of the mound in the left field bullpen. Now time is called behind the plate. Kepler asked for it. It's been a fun one so far in downtown Toronto. Lively ballpark, pretty packed house on a work from dome day to wrap up this homestand. And the Blue Jays up 8-1 in the 6th. Bassett's 1-1. Hit on the ground is short. Picked up by Bo Bichette. He pumps and throws over to first to end the inning. Phillies get a run on 3 hits. RBI single by Schwarber after the Turner double, but they leave 2 on, and it's 8-1 Blue Jays middle 6. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Here's what's happening on Sirius XM Sports.
It's here, Game 1 of the NBA Finals. Sirius XM NBA Radio with coverage of the Oklahoma City Thunder hosting the Indiana Pacers live from Oklahoma City right now. NBA Finals are here. Live coverage at Sirius XM NBA Radio, Channel 86, and the Sirius XM app.
Sirius XM Sports, wherever you are. Your team plays here.
I'm John Paul Morosi, host of the SiriusXM original podcast, The Road to Cooperstown. Hear our conversations with Hall of Famers about the challenges they overcame on the journey to baseball immortality.
It is a hard game, and mentally it's hard.
I used to go to bed crying. They pretty much knew I was going to have lung surgery after the season. I wasn't for sure. Would I ever play baseball again?
The Road to Cooperstown is the official podcast of the National Baseball Hall of Fame and Museum. Episodes are available now on the SiriusXM app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Wake up! Wake up, everybody! This is Steve Phillips from the leadoff spot on MLB Network Radio. Join me and former Major League Baseball players Eduardo Perez and Xavier Scruggs as we react to all the latest news and scores across baseball and have plenty of fun along the way.
Steve, you were so right about that.
I don't know if anybody else thinks we're funny, but I think we're funny.
Why are you putting us or we into this?
The leadoff spot, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
24/7, 365 coverage of all things NASCAR. All things NASCAR happens exclusively on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio, Channel 90.
And the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Bottom of the 6th inning, Blue Jays 8, Phillies 1. And a pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Taijuan Walker out, righty Seth Johnson makes his season debut as he deals to Bo Bichette. Outside, ball 1. Only the second time that Johnson has pitched in a major league game this year. He got 1 start for the Phillies last season. Now makes his first ever major league relief appearance. Righties 1-0. Foul back. 97 on the heater. He averaged 95 in his lone start last year. Johnson, a swingman this year for AAA Lehigh Valley. ERA just below 5 in 33 innings. 1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2. What he did quite well is punch guys out. 42 strikeouts in 33 innings, but the walks were high, 21 walks. Four-seamer slider change curve for Seth Johnson. Right-handers 1-2 to Bichette. Bounce towards shortstop, charging in Turner. Fields tosses over to first. 1 out.
I tell you what, he might struggle walking guys, but he's got really good stuff. He was up to 98 during that at-bat against Bo Bichette, then flipped in that really good 12-6 curveball. His stuff kind of looks like Mick Abel's.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big fastball, big curveball.
Just 26 years old, too. There's still time for him to figure it out.
Absolutely. Pitch to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. hit on the ground towards second. Gobbled up there by Bryson Stott. Throw on first. 2 quick outs.
99 miles an hour with that fastball. That was a good one. Down and away. Vlad just hit it into the ground to second base. But again, like, this guy's got elite stuff. All it comes down to for him is just commanding those pitches, and he'll be good.
It was a first-round comp pick, so picked just after the first round, in between first and second in 2019. It's pitched to George Springer, called a strike. You're going to love this, Chris. He was picked out of Campbell University in North Carolina. The Camels. 0-1. Swing and a liner down in left center field, splitting Marsh and Kepler. This could be extra bases. Springer around first, trying for second. The throw bounces in, not in time. A head first dive for George Springer's 13th double of the season.
Just another good swing for George Springer. Rumbling around first base, diving head first into second base, just beating the throw from Brandon Marsh, but another good swing, running hard out of the box. This lineup is relentless right now.
Blue Jays have 8 runs on 12 hits. And even though they're out hitting the Phillies by 7, they've left fewer guys on base than the Phillies because they're 4 for 7 with runners in scoring position today. Pitched Alejandro Kirk. Hit foul, 0-1. 8-1 Blue Jays, 2 outs, Springer on second, and the 2 for 3 DH, Alejandro Kirk up to the plate. A 1 in the dirt. Just for comparison, in Alejandro Kirk's Silver Slugger and All-Star season, he hit .285. Now, a little more slug that year than he's had so far this season, but hitting for a better average thus far.
There's still time.
There is.
There's still time to get that slug up.
1-1. High, 2 balls, 1 strike. Honestly, though, if he keeps hitting like this, I think they'll be fine with the singles. Kirk batting .301 on the year, 53 hits in 50 games. 2-1 pitch. High, ball 3.
It's a good take right there.
He's exactly the guy you want in situations like this. John Schneider talked today about his very even-keeled demeanor at all times. In late and close situations this year, he's hitting .433 in 30 at-bats. 3-1. Foul tip, 3-2.
Did you notice his excitement after hitting that double or that single off the wall, off of Jordan Romano? I have never seen him that excited in my life. Threw the helmet, was screaming. I like it.
Yeah, John Schneider talked specifically about it today. He said he loved it. You don't really see that from Kirk. He already had a walk-off this year, and it didn't look like that. 3-2 pitch. Popped up very high and foul over the first base dugout into the seats out of play. It just feels like there's a renewed energy with the Blue Jays. I think it started in that Padres series. There was a blip, of course, on the road trip. But there's just a feeling about them, walking around the team, talking to the team. And things are translating that way on the diamond. 3-2. Hit on the ground right side, a base hit into right field. Springer gets the wave around third. Castellanos' throw to the plate bounces in late. And it's an RBI single for Alejandro Kirk. 9-1 Blue Jays on Kirk's third hit today.
Just another hit the other way to the opposite field. Alejandro Kirk has been so good at just finding that hole, finding that gap on the right side of the field. I mean, it's becoming routine for him. Do not throw that pitch on the outer third on the black outside because he can get the barrel to it. And he did just that right there.
2 outs. Kirk leading off first. No hold. Pitch to Ernie Clement. Swatted out to right field. Late break back by Castellanos, but he gets there in time to make the catch and end the inning. The Blue Jays score 1 on a pair of 2-out hits. Double from Springer, RBI single from Kirk. They leave Kirk on first, but lead 9-1 through 6 innings. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Find your location at timbermart.ca.
Which loony dogger are you? Do you approach Tuesdays with swagger and style? You could be a Rizzy Glizzy. Maybe you're an architect stacking your loony dogs up high. Do you walk into the ballpark with the confidence of an MVD? Then you're the most valuable dogger. This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. No matter which Looney Dogger you are, you'll have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the ballpark. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneider's. Every Tuesday home game. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Timber Mart is Canada's building center, a solid neighbor to call upon when you've got a job to do. Your dependable home improvement store that offers the added value of Air Miles reward miles with every purchase of $15 or more. For a participating location, visit timbermart.ca.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Swing and a miss, strike three. He keeps this game tied
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Chris Bassett takes the hill again in the 7th inning. Blue Jays up 9-1 and a first pitch to Brandon Marsh fouled back. 0-1. Welcome to the Timber Mart broadcast booth. I'm Ben Schulman alongside former Major League pitcher Chris LaRue. Show Ali, our host and producer, Tom Young and Derek Brandeo, our technical directors. Bassett's 0-1. Just inside. Right-hander just threw his 86th pitch of the game. Blue Jays had Fluharty up last inning. Then they sat him down while the Blue Jays were batting. Now they have Fluharty back up once again, throwing with a little more intent as Bassett approaches 90 pitches. Here's 1-1. Fouled back, 1-2.
I would imagine that John Schneider will let Chris Bassett get to 100 pitches. Why not?
He does it all the time, Chris Bassett. Not a guy that throws max effort in terms of trying to sell out for velocity, and both of his last two starts only 82 pitches, so he hasn't put that much tax on the arm recently. 1-2 pitch. Called strike three. Top of the zone with the cutter. 6th strikeout for Bassett. And a not very happy Brandon Marsh turns around and walks back to the dugout. 1 out.
I think another thing that you have to think about when figuring out if you leave a guy out there for 100 pitches or not is how high stress, as Chris Bassett just recorded his 1100th career strikeout, how high stress have the pitches been during the ballgame? And I haven't seen any high stress pitches for Chris Bassett in this ballgame so far, so that arm is probably feeling good right now.
Maybe in the first inning or the second inning with a runner on second. Pitch to Rafael Marchand. Called a strike, 0-1. Here's what I'll say. I'll say in a 0-0 game, 2 outs, Nick Castellanos doubled in the second. He faced one batter in a scoreless game with a runner on second. Since then, the Blue Jays have led big. 0-1 in the dirt. 1 ball, 1 strike. And he threw 3 pitches to Max Kepler. So is that 3 high-stress pitches today?
I guess you could say 3, but it's the second inning, so
probably the same as 0.
Probably not as stressful as they would be in the 4th or 5th inning.
1-1. Swing and a miss, 1-2. When I say that, to echo your point, he's just not really been put under any pressure at all. That's what happens when you score 8 in the second and third combined. Blue Jays up 9-1. 1 out, top of the 7th. Right on left, the pitch to Rafael Marchand. Low, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
But if you looked at the face of Chris Bassett, you would never know that he was stress-free.
It's been a miserable day. I think he missed with like an 0-2 cutter, up 8-0 in the 5th, and looked up to the sky like he had just lost the game. His 2-2. Swing and a grounder to second. Waiting on it. Schneider picks it up. Quick transfer and throw to first. 2 outs.
93 pitches now in the ballgame. Let's see if he can finish off this next batter, Bryson Stott.
Most pitches he's thrown since May 20th, 3 starts ago when he went 6 shutout against San Diego. That's also the last time he's reached the 100-pitch plateau. He's gone to the century mark 3 times this season. Season high is still his season opener. He threw 106 pitches against Baltimore in his debut. Pitch to Bryson Stott. Slow curve drops in, strike one. He has really crossed up Stott all day. He struck him out twice and got him to pop out to short. Leadoff hitter for the Phillies is 0 for 3. 0-1. Swing and a miss. Threw the breaking ball below the zone. It's 0-2.
Another awkward swing from Stott.
Two outs and the bases empty. 9-1 Blue Jays. Top of the 7th inning. Stott asks for time.
Chris Bassett just shook off 2 signs, and then he pointed at Tyler Heineman. Wonder what that one is.
Goes to his right hip, does Bassett to give a signal to Heineman. And the 0-2. In the dirt, ball 1. Check briefly on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Mariners have taken a 3-1 lead over the Orioles on Cal Raleigh's 24th home run of the season. That game in the top of the 6th. And all of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Bassett with a breath and the 1-2. Low again. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, the Blue Jays may watch Baltimore scores as a division rival. Seattle is one of those teams in the wild card mix right now. 2-2. Hit on the ground foul. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. We'll get to the full Bet365 standings coming up a bit later, but right now Seattle occupies the 3rd wild card spot at 32 and 28. Royals, Rays, and Blue Jays are all half a game back at 32 and 29. It's a little early, but we're starting to get into the time where the wild card standings actually have some significance. 2-2. Hit off the handle, a liner right at the first baseman Guerrero. 2-handed catch to end the inning. As we go to the 7th inning stretch, the Blue Jays lead 9-1. Great offense and great pitching today so far from Chris Bassett. We'll take a quick step aside. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center. Streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Timber Mart. Locally owned, proudly Canadian. Your home team advantage with the right materials and the right price. Project know-how that's brought together a wealth of plans and solid advice. Trust your team at your locally owned Timber Mart. Timber Mart always has plans to help you with your plans. Your home, your cottage, your garage, whatever needs your attention first, check the most visited spot on our website for ready-to-order plans to get the job done with Canada's Building Centre. Visit timbermart.ca.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL free topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca.
Guess who just bundled their home and auto with Desjardins Insurance?
Well, look at you, all grown up and saving money.
Yes, I am.
Mom told you to do it, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Get insurance that's really big on care. Switch and you could save up to 35% on home insurance when you bundle home and auto. Desjardins Insurance. Here for your home, auto, life, and business needs. Certain conditions apply.
Hey, this is Kevin Gosman. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays Baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Seth Johnson into the line as we get going in the bottom of the 7th inning. First pitch to Davis Schneider, lofted out to deep right. Ranging back Castellanos onto the warning track, makes the catch. A near miss there by Schneider and a deep flyout for the first out of the bottom of the 7th.
He almost got that, didn't he? Castellanos caught that ball about 5 feet from the fence in right field. Just got under it a little bit.
So first out in the bottom of the 7th. Blue Jays leading 9-1 over the Phillies in the rubber match. And a big part of this lead is Miles Straw, who's hitting right now. 2 for 3 with a double, a single, 3 RBIs. The pitch. Called strike. Welcome to the Timbermart broadcast booth, by the way. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. Straw hit the double that opened the scoring in the second inning before knocking in 2 more on a single in the third. 0-1. Hit on the ground left side. On the run, it's picked up by Bohm, the third baseman. He spins and tosses to first in a smooth play at the hot corner. 2 down. It's interesting to think about Miles Straw and his impact on this team as Jonathan Clase comes up to hit with 2 outs. He was acquired in that deal that the Blue Jays also picked up some international bonus money. They were in pursuit of Roki Sasaki. Pitch to Clase. High ball 1. And some saw that as, okay, the Guardians are giving some international bonus money and basically making the Blue Jays take the Straw contract. 1-0 pitch chop to first. Will continue on the other side. Bryce Harper picks it up, tosses over to the pitcher covering Johnson, and that will do it for the bottom of the 7th. 1-2-3 inning pitched by Seth Johnson. It's Blue Jays 9, Phillies 1 after 7 innings. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming at sportsnet.ca and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
The NASCAR Cup Series is on SiriusXM. We're back on the track Sunday,
1 p.m. Eastern.
It's the Firekeepers Casino 400 from Michigan International Speedway on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90 and on the SiriusXM app. For up-to-date betting lines, fantasy plays, and the latest NASCAR news, catch the pre-race show before every Cup Series race. Plus, 2 hours of post-race coverage on SiriusXM NASCAR Radio Channel 90.
Every night after the final out, the Round Trip Roundup brings you the scores, highlights, and analysis from every game across Major League Baseball, all in less than 30 minutes.
Swung on and missed, strike 3 and a no-hitter.
It's the perfect way to get caught up on all the night's biggest home runs and best performances.
And a high drive, deep right center.
It's the Round Trip Roundup on MLB Network Radio every night on SiriusXM Channel 89 and every morning on the SiriusXM app.
Baseball is back. It's former General Manager Jim Duquette, and every Sunday on the front office, we have you covered on everything happening across Major League Baseball.
That's right, Duke. It's former Big League GM Jim Bowden. Injuries, extensions, promotions, demotions, and trades. We'll have you covered on all the news.
We'll bring you the front office perspective as the season heats up.
Front office with Jim Duquette and Jim Bowden Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network Radio, Channel 89, and on the SiriusXM app.
And it's gone!
Jays fans, this is John Schneider, and you're listening to Blue Jays Baseball on SiriusXM.
There's the exclamation point for all assembled here at Rogers Center.
The Sportsnet Radio Network.
Welcome back to downtown Toronto. Rubber match between the Phillies and the Blue Jays, and so far, so good for the Blue Jays. They are up 9-1 as we go to the 8th inning with a new pitcher on the hill. Lefty Mason Fluharty is in for Toronto. He pitches home to Trey Turner. Sweeper outside, ball 1. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. This pitching change is brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Closed off set for Fluharty, the 1-0. This is high and outside, dropped by Heineman. 2 balls, no strikes. Fluharty with 3.33 ERA in 24 1/3 innings pitched. He's punched out just over 1 batter per inning. 2-0 to Turner. Call to strike. Cutter just clipped the top of the zone. Fluharty enters after 7 magnificent innings from Chris Bassett. 5 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 6 Ks for the Blue Jay righty. 2-1. Hit on the ground sharply to short. On the move, it's picked up by the new shortstop, Ernie Clement. He'll throw over to first for the out. A couple defensive changes. Barger came into the game. Bo Bichette is out. Roden came into the game. Springer is out. Roden goes straight into right field for Springer. But Barger will go to third base, and Clement bumps over to short, covering Bo Bichette. Bryce Harper up with 1 out in the pitch. Fouled back, 0-1. Why don't we pick up that Miles Straw discussion we were talking about just at the end? So Miles Straw picked up, if you weren't with us before, in a trade from Cleveland. The Blue Jays getting international bonus pool money, and you could see it as Cleveland getting rid of the salary for a player that they had at the minor league level much of last year. One swing and a miss, nothing in two. And so the Blue Jays picked that up, but they didn't get Roki Sasaki, and some felt like now they're quote-unquote stuck with a guy like Straw. They've been anything but stuck with Straw. He has been really, really important to this team. 0-2. Hit foul off to the left, still nothing in two. Coming off a year where he played only about a week's worth of games in the big leagues, coming into spring training without a guarantee on the roster, being in some of the hitting and fielding groups with younger guys, the quote-unquote B group. He's put all that behind him. He's become one of the most popular guys in the room and one of their biggest contributors off the bench. 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss. Mason Fluharty punches out Bryce Harper, and there are two down.
Well, Miles Straw essentially came out of nowhere, and talk about a guy that came out of nowhere, Mason Fluharty. This is a big test for him. Trey Turner, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber in this inning. He's had one speed bump this season, May 25th against Tampa Bay. He gave up 4 earned runs in 0 innings, and he's had 3 pretty good outings since then, and this is his biggest test, I would imagine, in that 4-game stretch.
Pitch to Kyle Schwarber. Gets ahead of him with a high sweeper, strike one.
But yeah, Miles Straw has been great. You hear all the stories about him in the clubhouse, always smiling, laughing, telling jokes, and then on the field, he's been awesome.
0-1. Check swing. Peel down to third. He did go, nothing in two. And you connect Straw to Fluharty there, and I think it's valid. I think the Blue Jays, with this success recently, it's a lot of guys that they didn't necessarily expect to do it. Barger, Fluharty. I don't think you could say you expected Little to be this good. 0-2. Down and away. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I think you have to sprinkle in Alejandro Kirk as well.
100%. I mean, they expected him to be a big part of
Tyler
it.
Heineman.
100% Tyler Heineman.
Yeah.
100% Yariel Rodriguez being a huge factor for them out of the pen. Tyler Heineman, speaking of, is going to go out and talk to Mason Fluharty. That'll give us a sec to go to the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Pretty wacky game going on in Seattle's. Cal Raleigh, last time we had looked, hit a 2-run homer to make it 3-1 Mariners. And then in the 6th inning, Adley Rutschman and Gunnar Henderson go back-to-back. Henderson's 8th, Rutschman's 7th home run of the season. And it's 4-3 for the Orioles over the Mariners. Bottom 6, Orioles looking to win a 6th game in a row. And all of our out-of-town scores brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. 2 outs, bases empty, 9-1 Blue Jays, top of the 8th. The 1-2. Outside, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
The new coaching staff over in Baltimore is working wonders.
Tony Mansolino. First shot.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
They did hire John Mabry to be a part of their staff. Recent ad, 2-2, high, ball 3. But we had already talked about it before. I mean, you look at the teams that are around in terms of record and numbers, they clearly have a lot more talent than some of those teams around them. It just hasn't shone through so far. 3-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Fluharty punches out Harper, punches out Schwarber in a 1-2-3. Top of the 8th inning. Middle 8. Blue Jays 9. Phillies 1. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ Home Hardware and Building Center locations, where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Lights up, let's go to Junior J Sundays. It's family fun throughout the ballpark with games and activities that your squad will never forget.
Feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
Sportsnet Plus is the streaming home of the Blue Jays.
Oh, what a catch!
Stream over 150 Blue Jays games all season long.
You won't see this anywhere else.
Including pre- and post-game coverage with Jamie and Joe on Blue Jays Central.
One of the best in the game right here.
Watch all the Blue Jays action wherever you are, at home or on the go.
Don't you love baseball?
Plans start from $24.99 a month.
We are good to go.
Subscribe at sportsnetplus.ca. This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Way back, and Jimenez has done it again.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Tyler Heineman leading it off for the Blue Jays. Welcome back to downtown Toronto at Rogers Center. It's Blue Jays 9 and Phillies 1, and we have a pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Weston Wilson, the position player on the hill, is 1-0 to Heineman. Called a strike at 50 miles an hour, 1-1. We've seen a crazy number of position players pitching recently, Chris.
Do I need to let everybody know where he was born, the round he was drafted in, and the college he went to?
No.
Not that important at this point?
No. A good utility player, credit to Weston Wilson. This is not what he does really professionally. 1-1 is low, 2-1.
Although he did go to Clemson, which is pretty cool.
And then again, he is doing it professionally. He's getting paid today to pitch on this mound. 2-1 pitch. Inside ball 3. Wilson is 17th rounder by the Brewers.
Look who's standing on deck. I like that matchup.
Addison Barger. It's a scary matchup. 3-1 pitch drops into the zone. A 60-mile-per-hour, I guess a fastball. Full count. Next pitch is lofted to center field. Moving back now, coming in, Brandon Marsh. Makes the catch, 1 out. I'm Ben Schulman alongside Chris LaRue. 9-1 Blue Jays, bottom of the 8th. Let's take a look at the Bet365 standings. Download the Bet365 app for today's baseball odds and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. The Yankees 37-23 entering today. Blue Jays and Rays both 32-29. The Red Sox are 30-34 and the Orioles 24-36. First pitch to Barger is popped up way high and out of play into the seats. Back off to the right, 0-1. Oh, one pitch, line to right center field. That's going to get down and cut off on a hop by Nick Castellanos. Addison Barger takes the single with 1 out.
And it doesn't matter who you get that single off of. I can guarantee that Addison Barger will take that. You look at the box score, it doesn't say against Weston Wilson. It says single.
Well, you were talking about that matchup. How about this one? Vladimir Guerrero Jr. coming up, and his on-base streak is on the line right now. First pitch from Wilson, called a strike, 0-1. He's been on base in 34 straight, but he's 0 for 4 today. 0-1 pitch is hit very high to shallow left field. Coming in Kepler, and that will likely end the on-base streak. Catch made by the left fielder, 2 down.
That's still a pretty good streak. Pretty amazing. 34 games.
Longest by a Blue Jay since Edwin Encarnacion's record 44-game streak in 2016. As Alan Roden comes up, we remind you that this copyrighted broadcast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. First pitch called a strike to Roden. Now the 0-1 is lined and caught at third. A scoreless inning of work for the position player Wilson around a Barger single. And that sends us to the 9th inning. Blue Jays 9, Phillies 1. Toronto 3 outs away from taking a series from one of the National League's best. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
This summer, the smooth never stops on Yacht Rock Radio. Weekends begin with Club Yacht Rock. Sundays keep it cool with Yacht Soul Sundays.
It's an hour of smooth R&B and soul hosted by yours truly, Al Roker.
In between, smooth, soft rock from the 70s and 80s. Yacht Rock Radio, Channel 15 all summer, and at home with the SiriusXM app on your phone, computer, Alexa, TV, or other internet-connected devices.
Fantasy Sports Radio is helping you win your fantasy leagues right now on Channel 87.
Say goodbye, home run Aaron Judge.
From in-season fantasy baseball management to helping you prepare for your fantasy football drafts, Fantasy Sports Radio is here to help you dominate.
Don't ever take a player that you don't intend to keep all year. Don't do it. It's terrible management.
Fantasy Sports Radio, your home for fantasy sports. Channel 87 and on the SiriusXM app.
No one brings you the passion of the beautiful game quite like SiriusXM FC.
Would you believe this?
Whether it's live matches from the EPL, MLS, the NWSL, or the UEFA Champions League.
This is sensational!
Or live talk shows featuring the sport's most entertaining experts.
You don't get to say, I don't feel like making that play right now. You make the play.
It's the world of soccer at your fingertips.
How mouth-watering is that?
SiriusXM FC, channel 157 in the car, and streaming on the SiriusXM app.
In season or out of season, the number one place for college sports is SiriusXM College Sports Radio, Channel 84.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
The ninth inning is brought to you by new pizza from Pizza Pizza. Get a huge 18-inch double XL 3-topping pizza for just $19.99. Bigger slices, bigger bites, only at Pizza Pizza. New pitcher into the game for the Blue Jays, Eric Swanson, is on. And a new batter for the Phillies, Johan Rojas, will take some hacks, batting in the spot of Alec Bohm. Pitching change brought to you by Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer for the Toronto Blue Jays, locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Third appearance for Swanson. Pitches with a 9-1 lead. The right-hander looks into the right-handed hitter, curls back and fires, and it's a fastball at 93 right on the outside corner, strike one. Alongside Chris LaRue, I'm Ben Schulman. A one pitch. Hit off the handle, a one hopper to first. Vladdy has it waist high and takes it over to the bag, one out. Well, this has been quite the performance from the Blue Jays. 4 in the second, 4 in the third. They chased Jesus Luzardo out of this game after 2 1/3 innings and are on the brink of taking a series from a really tough team.
I mean, you have to give credit to Chris Bassett. He's seen a couple of guys go up against this tough Phillies lineup. Bowden Francis struggled. Jose Barrios was great. And he's basically doing the exact same thing that Jose Barrios did.
Edmundo Sosa in to hit his first appearance of the series. He takes down an away ball one. He's in the spot of Castellanos.
He's executed that game plan to perfection, throwing inside, throwing that cutter elevated, even flipping in that slow breaking ball.
1-0. Swing and a miss, 1-1.
It's been fun to watch, at least the last couple of days.
For Bassett, it was the first time he completed 7 this season. Had gone 6 2/3 once. But his career domination of the Philadelphia Phillies continued today. One count to the right-handed hitting Sosa, former Cardinal. And I think there's a pitch comm issue. At least Eric Swanson has something that he needs to talk to Adrian Johnson about. Yeah, it was a pitch comm issue. So they turned off the pitch clock for a moment. Heineman came out from behind the plate, but now they're going to reset. We've mentioned it already today, but not only was Bassett effective, but he set up the Blue Jays nicely for tomorrow, having basically a fully rested bullpen. 1-1. Poked away foul 1-2. We don't know for sure if it'll be a traditional Eric Lauer start or if they'll throw an opener in front of him. Potentially even throw someone like Paxton Schultz in front of him, who's not really an opener for 1 inning, but could go 2 to 3. But we know Lauer will factor in. 1-2. Hit on the ground towards shortstop. Clement charging. Gloves it in the palm. Tosses over to first. 2 down.
I like the idea of just letting Eric Lauer just start. He's shown the ability. He's been a big league player for a long time. He's pitched over 600 career major league innings. Just let that guy start. You don't need an opener. You don't need any of that stuff.
It's very possible they do it. 2 down, Max Kepler, the last chance for the Phillies. 9-1 Blue Jays. Bases empty, top of the 9th. First pitch high from Swanson, ball 1. Swanson kicks and offers. And it's high again, ball 2. Phillies dominated the opener of this series, and it looked like the Blue Jays were in for a rude awakening after their sweep of the lowly A's. But a walk-off win yesterday, and they're up 9-1 today. 2-0 pitch down and away. 3 balls, no strikes. Credit the pitching yesterday, and credit everyone today. 3-0. Called a strike, 3-1.
It's interesting. I'm looking at the box score right now, trying to figure out who the player of the game is, and it's going to be a hard one. A lot of good performances today.
A lot of good performances. 3-1 pitch. Hit very high out to center field. Miles Straw coming in. Clement going back. Straw makes the call, brings it in, and the Blue Jays win. It was a real good day to be a Toronto Blue Jay. 9-1 is the final score as they take the rubber match, winning the series over the Philadelphia Phillies.
What a big game for the Toronto Blue Jays. A lot of great performances, of course, led by Chris Bassett, who absolutely dominated this tough Philadelphia Phillies lineup. 7 innings, 5 hits, just 1 earned run. He was in control for the majority of this ball game. Tip your cap to him, but also there was a lot of good offensive performances.
There really was. That's what helped the Blue Jays to a 9-run, 14-hit win. 9-1 is the final score. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll wrap it up, and then we'll send you over to Blue Jays Talk. You're listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center, streaming on the Sportsnet app and the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Drywall, an essential part of many, many projects. It's important to get it right and start with quality materials. Essentials you'll always find competitively priced at Timber Mart, like CGC, a recognized giant in the drywall industry for over 100 years and leading Canadian manufacturer of gypsum drywall. Well established and reputable, building pros and contractors know CGC, and you get exactly what the best builders trust. That's as sexy as drywall gets. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
Which loony dogger are you? Do you approach Tuesdays with swagger and style? You could be a Rizzy Glizzy. Maybe you're an architect stacking your loony dogs up high. Do you walk into the ballpark with the confidence of an MVD? Then you're the most valuable dogger. This season at Rogers Center, every Tuesday home game is Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneiders. No matter which loony dogger you are, you'll have the opportunity to purchase $1 hot dogs from various concession stands around the ballpark. Looney Dogs Night, presented by Schneiders. Every Tuesday home game. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com.
At Crown Rust Control Center, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! I'm talking to you! Thank you for helping us hit 100,000 subscribers here on YouTube, Toronto Sports Insider. We are going to keep on going all the way up to 1 million and more. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today during the Blue Jays game. Thank you to everybody who has hit that subscribe button to help us get over 100,000. And thank you for hitting the subscribe button right now. If you're doing that right now. If you're not, then whatever. I guess just keep listening to the Blue Jays game and just be ungrateful that you've got an awesome... Hey, you! Yeah, you! The Blue Jays win 9-1 and we take the series from the Phillies! What's up, Blue Jays fans? Thank you for hanging out with us this afternoon. Work from Dome Day. The Blue Jays get the series win over the Phillies. Thank you for being here. Thank you for hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button if you're new. Turn on that bell. All right, we have got to let you know we will be live tomorrow for the Blue Jays and the Twins. the next series for the Jays, we got this. It's going to be a good one. In Minnesota, the Jays go on the road. We'll see you there, and hopefully tonight in the NBA Finals, game number 1 will be live for the Pacers and the Thunder. We'll see you in that live stream as well. Thank you for hanging out with us today. Thank you for keeping it classy. We appreciate you. We appreciate you being here. Let's go, Blue Jays. We're making a playoff push. We'll see you back in the chat. And as always, we'll let the postgame run. Full stop. All the way through today. Go, Jays, go. We'll see you. Yes, what a win.
Jays really got to the talented left-handed starter Jesus Luzardo. They ended up knocking him out of the game in the 3rd inning. There were so many different guys that had big offensive days that even Chris wondered who the player of the game would be today. Well, they couldn't score 8 on Luzardo without getting the first run against him, and coming up with multiple knocks today from the bottom third of the lineup is today's player of the game, Miles Straw. Second Blue Jays hit today, 1 on 1 out. Pitch to Miles Straw is smoked. Out to right center field in the gap and down, bouncing into the fence. Schneider headed to third. Big wave by Carlos Fabulous. Relay to the plate. Not in time. Head first dive home by Davis Schneider. 1-0 Blue Jays on a Miles Straw RBI double in the second. 0-1 pitch served out to right field. Down for a base hit. Coming in to store Kirk. Clement right behind him. Throw to the plate, cut off. 2-run single for Miles Straw. Kirk and Clement score. All the way to third goes Davis Schneider. Straw's got 3 RBIs, and the Blue Jays have a 6-0 lead in the third.
I mean, this is just incredible against one of the game's best young pitchers. Miles Straw just taking that tough pitch down and away and hammering it the other way. A sinking fastball at 95 miles an hour. Miles Straw continues to swing the bat well. He really does. I said it best. He really does. I mean, Miles Straw, really, he's come out of nowhere, a lot like Addison Barger, a lot like Mason Fluharty. We talked about that during the broadcast. He's been such a big part of this roster for the majority of the season. And a lot of his hits have come in big spots, just like today. 3 RBIs, 3 big RBIs for Miles Straw. He's been really impressive.
Miles Straw helps the Blue Jays to a 9-1 win over the Philadelphia Phillies. Phillies come up with 1 run on 5 hits, no errors, 6 left. The Blue Jays with 9 runs on 14 hits, no errors, also 6 left. Win for Chris Bassett, 6-3. Jesus Luzardo with the loss. His second straight goes to 5-2. No save today. Game took 2 hours and 23 minutes in front of a crowd of just under 34,000. And with the Blue Jays win, they match their most games above 500 all season. They go to 33-29, 4 above 500 for the first time since they were 12-8. The Phillies still an impressive 37-25. Blue Jays back in action tomorrow at Target Field in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Bailey Ober goes for the Twins against TBD. TBD's been on quite a roll. We'll see what he has for the Twins tomorrow, but that will do it for us today. For our technical director, Tom Young, and Derek Brandeo, our host and producer, Show Ali, Chris LaRue, my partner, I'm Ben Schulman. Have a great rest of your day. We hope to see you tomorrow, and stick around. Get your calls and texts in. It's a series-winning edition of Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker. It starts right now.
All right, it is indeed a series-winning edition of Blue Jays Talk. Jeff Blair and Kevin Barker on the Sportsnet Radio Network, soon to be joined by our friends on Sportsnet TV. The number to call and leave your questions or comments is 416-413-3959. You can text us 590-590. All right, Kevin. Putting the boots to the Oakland Athletics is one thing.
Yep.
You could probably put together a team of folks from down here in this floor and at least give them a run.
Well, we'd try.
You'd hit cleanup. But taking 2 of 3 from a team a lot of people think is going to represent the National League in the World Series, some people think may win the World Series. Do you feel any different about this 33-29 Blue Jays team right now? Any better than you felt about them at any time this year.
Yeah, I think you have to. I think the adjustments that the older pitchers have made in the rotation to give a lineup a chance, right? I mean, we've heard Bassett the way he's talked the last couple of outings where he wasn't happy with what he was trying to do. He's moved around the rubber today. The lefties that he's had to face, they had 6 in the lineup today. It was coming in, lefties were hitting 321 off him. You knew sort of that was going to either make him or break him. You know what he did? He had 13 outs. Well, he walked a guy, so he had 12 outs. He faced 13 of them before he gave up a hit. That was the Schwarber RBI single. I mean, that's sort of exactly what you have to do. The lineup's doing whatever it takes. I mean, I just, Jeff, I don't know how you walk away from this series not going, man, maybe this Jays team's pretty good. I mean, if they ever figure out how to get Vladdy heading in the right direction, they get Tony back, they get Varsho healthy, you continue to get what you're getting from guys that just know their role. I mean, give John credit, Snyder, the manager, and all the coaching staff. Just sort of everybody knows their role. They know when they're playing. They know what they have to do. They know what they're going to be asked to do. They just go out there and be themselves. And 1 through 9, I mean, just consistently, I think you're seeing that. So, yeah, I mean, if you're a Jays fan, if you're on the outside looking in, I don't know how you don't look differently at them.
No, I'll tell you what. I think John Schneider's had a pretty damn good 2-week run here.
I'm going to say a year.
You look at this team, an 8-3 loss in that first game against the Phillies, where Bowden Francis was awful. And I think, after coming off that series sweep of the Athletics, you're going, okay, this is reality. Then they win 2-1 yesterday, a walk-off courtesy of Alejandro Kirk. And then today, putting the boots to Jesus Luzardo, who is now, I mean, if you're the Phillies now, you're probably looking at his last 2 starts and wondering what's gone on. But at one point this year, he was pretty damn impressive. He was one of the most impressive starters in baseball. And he's a guy that features a bunch of stuff that you would think would normally trouble this team. But Kevin, Bo, the home run, the bottom of the order, the bottom 4, bottom 3 in the order, terrific. A lot of big hits, a lot of getting on base. And as you mentioned, Chris Bassett, I was asked in the pregame show with Show Ali about Chris Bassett and what my level of concern was with him given his recent starts. And I said, the one thing I know I've learned about Chris Bassett is just when you start to think that all the innings and all the pitches and that everything's combining to him and that, the glass slipper is going to, all that stuff, you begin to think that, okay, maybe we're starting to see some of the threads fraying a little bit here. He does something. It's not like he reinvents himself, but he makes an adjustment. Today, at least, he started on the first base side of the rubber.
Yep.
Now, as you pointed out, as the game went on, he gradually moved to the middle. But whatever he was doing on the other side of the rubber, Kevin, I mean, I'm looking at my scorecard here. You talked about it. Strikeout swinging, 6-3, strikeout swinging, 6-3-6. He gave up a double to Castellanos. Then he gets Kepler to fly out, comes inside on him. And I mean, that was, by that point, the Jays score 4 runs. And this is the first time in a long time. It's the first time in a long time that I went into the 3rd inning thinking, I think this thing is done. 4-0 Jays. It's the first time in 6 games they've scored first. But I just got this sense that the game was done. So, I mean, credit Chris Bassett. This is the Chris Bassett experience, right? You got to pay attention because something different's going to happen.
Yeah, the 2.73 ERA at home in the 6 starts, I think, gave you confidence that at least at home he's going to compete. He'll give you at least, if you're a fan of the Jays, a fighting chance to cheer for the lineup to have the big inning, which is a big deal, right? It's the 53% strike 1 percentage. League average is a little over 60%. With him, you don't read too much into that. It's just, coming into this thing, I mentioned the lefties, the 6 lefties that you were going to face, at least the top of the order, those lefties that you really got to grind through and get out. You knew to make your curve relevant, you had to be really good and make a team uncomfortable, at least the lefties, with the sinker and the cutter. So how do you do that? You change sort of how they're looking at you standing on the mound. Now, I know probably, and we'll find out what he says about moving around on the rubber. I'm sure that's more about lanes and keeping the sinker and the cutter in the zone a little bit longer, making it a tougher take against those. But I've faced dudes that move that far on the rubber to the first base side and be right-handed. as a left-handed hitter, it's very hard to sort of put, the tension on your neck to look over there to try and find the slot. You lose track of where home plate's at, and you start swinging at things you don't want to swing at. So, I'm sure that's probably not what he was intending for that to do. It's more about the lanes of the sinker and cutter trying to make people uncomfortable. But give him credit, right? What with the lefties, 1 for 17 with a walk. He gave up 1 RBI single. How much better could you get?
It is Blue Jays Talk with Blair and Barker on Sportsnet 590 The Fan, now on Sportsnet. Hello to our friends on the TV side. If you want to get involved in the conversation, you can text us at 590-590. Standard message and data rates may apply. Or you can leave a comment for us, 416-413-3959. Please leave your name and location as well. The Blue Jays, 9-1 winners over the Philadelphia Phillies. We'll get to the post-game interviews in a minute. A couple of things I want to set up. The Jays now go on to face the Minnesota Twins in a 3-game series starting tomorrow. Pablo Lopez will not pitch in that series for the Twins. He's out for 3 months with a shoulder injury. Carlos Correa did not play today. The Twins are getting their you-know-what's handed to them by Oakland. Carlos Correa did not play today with a back issue. So that gets you caught up in that. The Jays are now 4 games over 500 for the first time since they were 12-8. Let's go live to John Schneider, the manager of the Blue Jays.
Playing well. It's a good homestand, 6-1. They're good. They're tough. And I thought we pitched really well the last 2 games and swung the bats really well today. But what it says about us is, I think that I continue to think that we're a good team and we can play with anyone is kind of how I feel about it. But it starts with starting pitching, and Hosey and Chris were really good.
Rebound outing from Bassett. What did you see today that was different than the past 2 starts for him?
A little bit better velo early on his fastball. He mixed his pitches well. Curveball was a good pitch, especially to their lefties. And I thought he pitched in well. Got a couple quick outs in and limited damage. Trey hit the ball hard there for their run, but I think when you play a team like that, you have to try to limit the amount of homers. You know what I mean? It was evident in game 1. So he pitched in, worked away, commanded everything well.
I know 4-game sweeps are tough no matter who you're playing, but after the Oakland series, to come back Tuesday and get knocked around like that, to be able to bounce back and say, okay, so you know what, even though this is a really good team, we're still doing that. What does that show? Yeah,
I love the way they went about it. It's that's kind of been their MO the whole year, really. And there's been close games that haven't gone our way, and it seems like they're kind of going our way a little bit more right now. But to start the series the way it did and to end it, big win last night, and then to carry it over against another tough starter, it says a lot about the guys.
And I know this is your expectation, but how does it feel now to be sitting in a playoff spot?
Yeah, that's great. That's kind of that's what you sign up for every single year. You know what I mean? Whole lot of baseball left, that's for sure, and that's great right now. But you gotta move on to a long, tough road trip and kind of just keep taking it one at a time. But I think that's the goal. That's the expectation here for sure.
Hey, John, I know Tyler Heineman only plays every 3rd game or so, but he's hitting .404 with a .976 OPS. What do you make of those numbers?
Pretty good. Heine, I think he understands his role, understands what he brings to the team, and I think that he, probably the first, I don't want to speak for him, but I think for the first time really in his career, he's understanding what he can do offensively and where what pitches and where he can handle. He's been great. You know what I mean? He's been great. I think if you were to tell me he was hitting what he's hitting right now, I would probably not believe you at the beginning of the year, but those things happen with guys, and I think when you're convicted in what you're doing, it can happen like that. But he's been awesome.
Hey, John, on Heineman and Strawn, those guys, the role players, how much of a luxury is it when they come in and they produce?
Yeah, I mean, Miles has been great all year, and he's another one who just understands kind of, when he's going to play, what is needed from him. He's a gamer, he's been awesome to have the entire year, and I think Heine is kind of really kind of dove in to being Kirky's backup and understanding, we want to keep him out of games that he's not DHing in, and you don't want to force Kirky in a game. You want to do your part, and he's done that. But I think Miles in particular, he has been a very, very quietly good addition for us for so many different reasons, not just on the bases and defensively. I think he's kind of figuring some things out offensively too. So it is nice to have those guys.
And when those guys produce, do you feel maybe some weight come off guys like Bo and Vlad?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. I think, games that we do really well, I think the bottom of the order probably does their part. They're on base, and they're on base for the guys at the top. I think today, the biggest hit today for me was Bo after you score 2 and then hitting the 2-run homer. And I thought we ran the bases really well. I think those guys too, that they bring that element to the game too. They're smart and good base runners, so that just helps us score runs. And it is nice that it doesn't have to be the same single person or two every single night.
With Bo, it feels like we're sort of at peak Bo right now. Like he's producing as well as he ever has. What are you seeing?
Yeah, I think he's been consistent all year, really. I mean, even since spring training. You go back to spring training, he was really, really kind of locked in. The power has been really nice, lately. And, even his outs seem to be hard. So it's great. He's one of the most talented hitters in the league. And to have him performing well and feeling like himself is when we're at our best.
To have him, I mean, the numbers show he's been much better in May, although he was solid in April. But to have him hit the ground running the way he did this season after missing so much time, and after the season before that, the end of it going the way it did, I'm not going to ask if you're surprised by that because you know him so well, but is that a difficult thing to do, and what challenge has he risen to?
Yeah, I'm sure. I think last year was tough for him, variety of different things between performance and health, and you can never really count him out when you're talking about a guy who's going to compete and try to be better. You know what I mean? So it's not easy to do, but it's just Bo kind of coming back to his norm offensively. He's that talented, so not surprised by it at all, I guess is the best way to put it.
Hey John, whether it's performance or mindset from the guys, what are you seeing that's maybe suggesting that the roller coaster's leveling off a little bit?
I think the mindset hasn't really changed, to be honest with you. I think performance, when you're performing, you're scoring, it kind of just leads into everything. It takes pressure off the pitchers. It allows them to get deeper into games. And I think that performance really kind of just justifies how we and the guys feel about our team is the best way to put it. So it's, I can sit here, a month ago and say, hey, we're right there, whatever. I think when you're there, it kind of just validates kind of how you feel, and then it takes a little bit of pressure off of everybody.
Does today's result give you clarity on tomorrow's starter, or is that still TBD?
It gives us more clarity, but still TBD. I think Rocco will probably know before you guys. Sorry.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
That is Jays manager John Schneider after today's 9-1 win over the Philadelphia Phillies. And we'll go to Chris Bassett in a minute. Wanted to sort of continue our conversation, Kevin. We will go to the phone line, 416-413-3959. But I mentioned the Jays are 4 over 500 for the first time since they were 12-8. Their record against teams that are over 500 is now 13-20. Their home record is 22-13 at home. And going into today's game, did a little bit of work. Going into today's game, they're second in the American League in home average, slug, and OPS. Now, granted, they did have that series against Oakland. They're third in home on-base percentage. We talked a little bit about this. To be successful, you have to have a home field advantage, and a lot goes into home field advantage. Mm-hmm. Are you starting to get the sense that maybe we're starting to see a little bit of that creep in here?
Yeah, maybe. I think Bo's starting to hit a little bit better.
They beat San Diego and Philly here. Never mind Oakland. They beat San Diego. They won series against the Padres and Philly here. And those are two teams that we've said, frankly, if you stuck them in the American League, would probably be better than any other team.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I think their best players are being their best players. I think that's what this comes down to. Kirky's starting to do things, offensively that he hasn't been doing the last couple of years. Barger's a little bit of a surprise. Bo, I think, is catching up to what everybody expected Bo to be. I think they think the ball's carrying a little bit better at the Rogers Center. I mean, the ball that Bo hit today to right center, he pimped that like he knew he got it. When's the last time you saw him do that to right center? It's been a long time. Even Kirky last night thought he got that, and that went off the top of the wall. But the thought is that when it leaves the bat, they're thinking they got it because, however, the ball's carrying there. So, yeah, I just think it's the best players being the best players on the team, and then everybody else is filling in the blanks around them. And again, you mentioned it. It's a lot sometimes about who you're facing, but that's not the fault of the lineup. The lineup still has to go out, get the good pitches, take the pitches. And I think, again, I mentioned this, about 3 weeks ago when everybody was yelling and screaming and saying, this team can't slug. They can't slug. And I was like, let's pump the brakes a little bit. They're swinging at things they shouldn't be swinging at. If they take those, get the ones down the middle, they have enough talent to slug. Well, we're seeing that. So, I think it's a combination of a bunch of things, but I do think it starts with you got to get a good pitch to hit. And everybody in the big leagues who plays every day should be able to hit a ball down the middle. And I think that's what you're seeing more times than not.
Connor in New Brunswick called us.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. After the series, and with the one coming up against the Twins, the Jays look like they have a much easier schedule, like you guys have said. What isn't to say that we couldn't go out on a run and potentially come out as wildcard leaders or favorites, or hell, even make it to the top of the AL East, considering we're in a very even, I wouldn't say weak, American League. I think we got the team to do it, and I think we're way more than due to get things rolling here. Just want to hear you guys. Thank you.
Kevin, I'll turn it over to you.
Okay, well, I think they got to figure out Bowden. I think they got to figure out they have to have some insurance when it comes to the fifth guy. I mean, they run at about 3 different dudes in there. So,
it's
hold your thought. It'll take some luck,
Kevin. We're going to go to Chris Bassett.
What do you think you did today to make that happen?
I moved back to the first base side, which, I give a lot of credit to the entire Blue Jays organization, because the reality of it is like the first base to third base side is a big move, but I never got any pushback or anything like that for it, so I'm grateful to be here and able to do that. But it's just the biggest thing to me is just trusting the teammates, trusting myself, and going out there.
So what went into that? Was that something that you drove and then Pete and everyone else was good with that?
Yeah, I think overall the last couple outings I've had to constantly sit back and be like, is this the right thing? Like, for my whole career, I pitched on the first base side. Last year, moved to the third base side. Obviously, we have 2 months in now, and I wasn't happy with where I was at. I wasn't happy with the length I was giving. I wasn't happy with the consistency. I wasn't happy with how my body was feeling. So it made it an easy move, but I was just more so happy to go in there and say, hey, I want to move back, and they were perfectly fine with it. So, again, I'm grateful that I'm here for that.
What does it do to your stuff to be on that other side?
That's too long of a conversation, really. I just felt I couldn't get the ball to the places that I wanted to get to consistently. And again, for 2 months in, I didn't like the way my body was feeling. And I was like, I want to be really good for the whole year, a long time for the Blue Jays. And I think on the third base side, that may have been in question. So everything kind of told me just to go over there.
That aside, going into a game like today, after the way you won last night, and this being a rubber match of a series against a really good team, do you feel like pressure's the wrong word, but do you want to keep that momentum going? Is there something that you try to do that?
No, I don't try to do too much. I only had one bullpen to kind of work on things. I understood the lanes were going to be a little different, but it was just trust your stuff. And obviously the offense did a really good job to give me a lot of run support pretty quick. So it made today easier in the aspect of having to move and then just being able to kind of attack and not really worry about, say, a 1 run or 2 runs and just work on things. And yeah, all the credit to the offense. You give me 8 runs after the third or fourth, it makes pitching a lot easier.
Chris, what does it mean to take 2 of 3 from a strong Phillies club?
Yeah, I mean, we'll take any wins we can get, but I mean, obviously, them coming in here, I told everyone I think this is the first or second best team in the NL. So with their starting pitching and their offense, they can easily win a World Series. So to take 2 or 3 from them was obviously a big, and now just keep it going.
Chris, you guys have been getting a lot of production from the bottom of your lineup. Just from a pitcher's perspective, what kind of challenge does that present to a pitcher when there's kind of threats 1 through 9 like that?
Yeah, I mean, the best lineups in the big leagues are the teams that have depth. I mean, obviously, I think everyone points to the Dodgers and things like that, but I mean, it doesn't really matter who it is. Like 6, 7, 8, 9 are hitting you. From a starting pitching standpoint, you're not going to have a good day for the most part. Just the bottom of the order, constantly grinding at bats out and constantly being on base. It just basically takes all the pressure off of Bo, or even just sets them up to do what they do. So yeah.
Chris, John, most of the season has been saying you guys are this close to putting it all together. When you go through a 6-1 homestand, is that sort of a validation of that belief that you guys had internally that you could be?
I mean, yeah, we're always striving to be better, but I think it's just I don't really like looking at the standings, and I don't like looking at the long-term picture just because it doesn't really matter. It's just day to day. I think you have to have a work ethic, and you have to have like a game plan that's good and thought out, and then just execute it. And if it's right, just keep on the same page over and over and over. And if it's wrong, then make adjustments. But I think we're in a good spot right now where the offense is doing a really good job, and starters are starting to roll a little bit.
Would you say that work ethic's never wavered all season?
No, not at all. I think the belief, like the offensive belief, has been there since day one. I think the pitching belief has been there since day one. Now it's just execute our game plans. And if, like I said, if it doesn't work, it's not a huge deal. We still have the guys to do the job.
About Bo, I mean, the run that he's on right now and a couple of big hits today, you haven't really, in your 3 years here, gotten to see the big-time Bo, except for that first half of your first year. What are you seeing from him now?
I just think he's so composed. I think, he can get mad every once in a while at certain at-bats, but I mean, overall, I just think he's not carrying a single thing day to day, and his approach and his understanding of the game is way more than most hitters. So when he's locked in the way he's locked in to hit fastballs really hard to right center, and then you can't really get him out then with off speed. So I don't really expect something else from Bo. I have very, very high expectations for him, so I think he's just kind of living up to my expectations more so than I'm like, holy crap, he's doing really good.
But at the same time, like, he's 4th in the majors in OPS with runners in scoring position this year. Mm-hmm. He's doing really well when it matters.
Yeah, I think it's just I expect Bo to do this. Again, that's a lot of pressure, but I think he can handle it.
Thanks, Chris.
There you go. That is Chris Bassett, the winning pitcher today, as the Blue Jays beat the Philadelphia Phillies 9-1. They've taken the series against the Phillies. They've capped off a 6-1 homestand. And next up is the Minnesota Twins in Minnesota. And the schedule gets a little easier after this road trip. You got St. Louis, you got Philadelphia. Then maybe you get a chance to not necessarily cruise into the All-Star break, but you might be able to give yourself a little breathing room going into the All-Star break.
Well, they still got to figure some things out, right? I mean, Vladdy's basically been late offensively all year. I mean, they got to try and figure that out, get him a little bit more on time. There will be a part of this season where he's going to have to step up and carry the lineup for a while. I mean, everybody else is doing it. I think it's about time for him to do that. And then there's other little things, right? It's more internally than it is who they're facing. If they can just figure out their own clubhouse, stay in that line, which Bassett was talking about, they'll be fine. They'll play meaningful games in September, which is what everybody wants, which will be a lot of fun to watch.
416-413-3959. That is the back leg line. You can leave us a question or comment. We're here until 7 o'clock. 590-590 is the text line. We're going to step away right now, take a quick break. We'll be back with more Blue Jays talk on the Sportsnet Radio Network and Sportsnet.
Of all the things that Timber Mart can lend a hand to build, community ranks among the most important. And with the Timber Mart Local Leaders Initiative, we strive to recognize those dedicated to making their hometowns a better place to live, work, and play. From now to June 25th, you can vote to select our grand prize winner. They'll receive a $10,000 grant to support their outstanding initiative as Timber Mart's Local Leader of the Year. To vote, visit local-leaders.com. Timber Mart, Canada's building center.
If you're looking for a fun day, did you know the day before Monday? Junior J Sunday. You can paint your face, come and meet Ace and run base to base. On Junior J Sunday. So many things to do. You could bring your crew and even mom and dad too. Junior J Sunday.
Lights up, let's go to Junior J Sundays. It's family fun throughout the ballpark with games and activities that your squad will never forget.
Feeling the song, grab your dad or mom, visit BlueJays.com. Junior J Sunday.
At Crown Rust Control, protection runs deep because every Crown Rust Control Center is owned by a local family who cares beyond business. Your Crown Rust Control is 100% committed to their product, to you, to their community, which is your community. Protecting you and what matters to you is equally important as protecting your vehicle. Did you know spring's the best time of year to protect your vehicle from rust? For a special spring offer, find your local family-owned Crown Rust Control Center at crown.com.
Buck Martinez here to tell you about the huge Double XL. 3-topping pizza from Pizza Pizza, just $19.99. That's a whopping 18-inch 3-topping thing of beauty for only $19.99. So hurry into Pizza Pizza today and bring a big appetite for a hot and fresh Double XL pizza. I'm loving this big voice. I may just call the game this way.
Go to pizzapizza.ca. Tomorrow on Sportsnet, Hockey Central previews a huge night in Edmonton. Then,
should be just a dandy of a series.
The Panthers and Oilers went toe-to-toe in Game 1.
How do you like it so far? You got to expect the unexpected. Game 1 will go to overtime. Who's going to be the hero? Scores! Leon Draisaitl, Game 1 hero!
Who takes Game 2? The Stanley Cup Final. Watch on Sportsnet. Stream on Sportsnet Plus.
Knock all your summer projects out of the park with Home Hardware, the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays and your DIY partner in making your dream home a reality. From gardens to garages, back decks to front doors, refreshes and renos, we're here to help you cover all your bases and make every summer project a home run. Visit any of our 1,000+ Home Hardware and Building Center locations where we're proud to be locally owned and genuinely Canadian.
Hey, this is Bo Bichette. You're listening to Toronto Blue Jays baseball on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Scary, spooky, hilarious, crazy, scary, spooky.
Welcome back to Blue Jays Talk on the Sportsnet Radio Network and Sportsnet. Jeff Blair and Kevin Barker, the Blue Jays 9-1 winners over the Philadelphia Phillies at the Rogers Center. And Kevin, we heard a little bit from Chris Bassett earlier. Talk about you mentioned this at the start of the show. From a hitter's point of view, you've seen video of Bassett.
Yeah.
You know Chris Bassett. You've probably seen him before.
Yeah.
You go up to the plate and he's on the first base side of the rubber. Explain again what that does, especially to a left-handed hitter, what that does to his eyesight, to his eye line.
Well, that's a great question. Well, how important it is to split the plate in half. I talk about that all the time. The great hitters and the Phillies have a bunch of great hitters, especially up front in their lineup. You want to eliminate half the plate against him. You don't want to be chasing him all around the strike zone, because if you do, it's going to be a long day. And Chris, just seemed to me, listening to him talk there about moving on the rubber, he's just more confident being over there, right? It sets the lanes. It just gives him a sort of a better release point to set up the slow breaking ball. I mean, that 20-mile-an-hour difference between, the sinker and the cutter is a big deal. You got to set the lanes. You got to get called strikes to be able to sort of attack both sides of the plate, right? Into lefties, into righties, up and into lefties, up and into righties, right? You want to sort of have the same kind of release point. He just seems more comfortable over there. As a hitter, right, it just changed everything you're looking at. Plate awareness is a giant deal. And if I don't feel like I'm comfortable enough to know where the plate's at all the time, I'm going to chase things and swing at things I don't want to swing at. So, yeah, he's killing two birds with one stone. I mean, he kept it in the lanes. He was getting enough called strikes. He was getting them in swing mode. He expanded the plate. Expanded the plate means right at 17 inches now all of a sudden, because he's moved over on that rubber. Now all of a sudden that thing's like 20, 21 inches wide. As a hitter, now I'm trying to protect that thing, and a lot of people can't do that. So, yeah, I mean, that's exactly what the doctor ordered. Good for him to show some urgency. Do that now because he's confident on that side of the rubber, and give the organization credit, right? They've moved him to the third base side of the rubber because the khakis are telling him, right, for whatever reason, that he's just better over there. Well, he's not confident over there. So give everybody credit for all getting on the same page. You went out there and dominated, and he mentioned it. When you're scoring 4 runs, and you even mentioned it, when you score 4 runs in the third inning against a team like the Phillies, it's a lot easier now to attack the strike zone, which is exactly what he did.
Let's take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard. Time now to take a look at the out-of-town scoreboard and the standings with Bet365. At Bet365, you can bet on popular markets like hits, home runs, and total bases. Download the app and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. 19+. Play responsibly. Ontario only. Only one other AL East team has finished off its game today. And let me just take a look here. The Baltimore Orioles beating the Seattle Mariners. 4-3. Baltimore's kind of...
I'll call it a comeback.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Well, yeah. I mean, we've talked about what a great lineup that should be if they can find some pitching. But anyhow, the Orioles 4-3 winners. The Jays are going into Minnesota. Minnesota was hammered 14-3 by the Athletics today in Sacramento. I guess positive news if you're the Blue Jays. You don't like to say that an injury is positive, but Pablo Lopez has been placed on the IL after leaving Tuesday's start early. And Carlos Correa was a scratch today with a recurring back issue. And, of course, Carlos Correa, between back issues and plantar fasciitis, his availability a lot of times, quite frankly, is on a day-to-day basis. So remains to be seen whether or not he will be available for the Twins tomorrow when they open that 3-game series against the Blue Jays. So the standings are as follows. The New York Yankees, they are 37-23. They have a game against the Guardians tonight. The Blue Jays, 33-29.
Ooh.
They are now 5 games out of the AL East.
That's crazy.
They have a wild card spot.
Hey.
This is significant. Their run differential.
Yeah.
We talked about the importance of run differential in how a front office analyzes its team. Shai Davidi wrote an article on it as well. -1.
Wow.
So they're almost at the breakwater mark for run differential. Tampa Bay 32 and 29. As hot as the Jays have been, the Jays are 8-2 in their last 10. Tampa Bay is 7-3. The Red Sox, they're 30-34, and who knows what crisis awaits them. Because their next game is against the New York Yankees.
What can go wrong?
What could go wrong?
Yeah.
And the Baltimore Orioles, 25-36.
Well, the East is fun. That's what it is. It's fun. Everybody bunched together like that. Nobody's running away with it. You know, we can't figure out if the Jays are any good, if the Red Sox stink. Like it's a little all over the place, which makes baseball fun, which makes your division fun, which gives everybody a chance, which gives a fan of Major League Baseball and just watching everything play out sort of makes it worthwhile, which is kind of fun.
Timothy in Vancouver, he had a voicemail for us.
Kevin, Dan and Joe had an interesting stat during the game that Mr. Alejandro Kirk is the top batter in the league with 2 strikes. Pretty impressive. With his defense and ability to throw runners out, we put him in the conversation as one of the best catchers in the league, or am I getting out over my skis here? And with that said, isn't his contract a bit of a discount now for a top-line catcher? Your thoughts on that? Have a good day, gentlemen.
I'll let you handle that, Kevin.
Well, I mean, but the contract thing, nobody said don't pay him. I just said, what's the hurry? And again, let's let this play out a little bit. It is a lot of fun to watch him doing it on both sides of the ball. Is he one of the best catchers in the American League? Absolutely. I mean, he's doing things offensively and defensively by making the adjustment, throwing people out. I mean, he's a little over 30% and throwing runners out. I mean, that's outstanding. The things he does like the caller mentioned, with 2 strikes and 2 outs, driving in the big runs. He had 3 more hits today. He's hitting over 300. Yeah, he's got to be in the conversation. It's just the little things, right? Can you win a World Series with him behind the plate? I mean, there's still that taking control of certain situations and getting certain pitchers through certain big parts of games that for me is still lacking, but all the other stuff, absolutely. The contract thing, I mean,
yeah, and I've also got to say this, though. I think, Alejandro Kirk has one of the benefits of playing for the Blue Jays is that you've got 1,001 catchers analyzing you. Buck, Joe, Dan, and or Buck, Joe, and Caleb, and I mean that sincerely. I'm not saying that to be facetious.
Yeah.
And I think as a result of that, there's a lot of focus, obviously, in Alejandro. But here's the thing.
Okay.
I think the whole idea about how he handles pitchers and going out to talk to pitchers, that ain't him. That's not going to be him.
Boy, he needs to get better at that.
But
you're paying him to get better.
He may not.
Well, he needs to.
I mean, he may not. This is how many years is this now that we've seen this?
Well, this is really the first year he's been the starter, been the guy, right?
He wasn't even,
I mean, it's right place, right time too. Danny's turning down money here.
Yeah, but he didn't even do that.
Don't really have anything in the minor league system.
He didn't even do that last year when he was the guy.
He really wasn't the guy until the second half, right? I mean, it's I'm not saying he's not a good catcher. I'm just saying if you're trying to win a World Series, the payroll that they have, the expectations they have, the money you gave Kirky that a lot of organizations wouldn't give him.
I don't know.
Again,
I'm not sorry. I think Alejandro Kirk's value is being established this year.
Well, let's be honest. The last couple of years offensively hadn't been real good. I mean, it's been good for the first 2 months, and hopefully he keeps this going rotationally and all. He's hitting the hater again, which he hasn't done the last 2 years.
He is giving them good value if you look at his wins above replacement. He's giving them good value.
Nobody says he's not playing well.
Raphael in Saint Jean, Quebec, sent us a text. Should we start talking about a Bo? You knew this was coming. Should we start talking about a Bo extension? A core of him and Vlad for the next 10 years would be incredible to watch through their prime.
For Bo. You looking at me? You want me to answer that first? Yeah, that's one of them things I'm playing out. I ask you.
I'm with you. I'm with you. No, I'm with you in this.
I'll ask you a question. How much do they won together? Tell me the truth. How much? I mean, you win a playoff round. Yeah, you have a serious conversation. Well, you don't. In my mind, maybe you make some changes. You make it look different. The difference, okay, sometimes.
Speaking of Bo Bichette, let's go to Bo Bichette.
Playing good ball.
In 100 words or less, how did you get from where you were at the end of last season to where you are right now, which is sort of where you were 3 years ago?
I mean, I think it's where I've been for every year of my career except for one.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't,
yeah.
I got knocked down. That's all I can say, but just trying to be myself again.
How do you feel on a scale of how locked in you are the last, say, 3-4 weeks?
There's a ton I still need to get better at. But, yeah, I feel all right.
Well, it seems like you've been coming to the plate with more guys on base lately. What can you say about the job that the guys at the bottom of the order have done to kind of turn the lineup around for you?
Yeah, it's been our whole lineup. Everybody's really doing well. The whole lineup. Can't say more about them.
You're also hitting the ball a lot harder, it looks like, than you typically have. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it also seems like you put on a bit of weight since last year. Does that help you with that velocity?
I think I've been hitting the ball hard all year.
What do you account for that?
Squaring the ball up. I've typically hit the ball hard my entire career.
A few days ago, Kearney really showed it out your defense. He said he was really impressed by it. You've obviously been a big force for a long time now, but do you feel like you've taken some strides defensively this year?
Yeah, I think there's definitely areas I can get better in. But definitely I've slowed the game down compared to when I was younger. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, I think I've gotten better.
Well, what do you like about the way the team has gone about going 6-1 in this homestand? And do you think maybe the kind of roller coaster has leveled off a little bit, the ups and downs of the season?
I'm sure there will be more. So we just got to focus on what we're doing now. Just continue to show up to the field and continue to focus on playing good baseball and picking each other up, playing for each other. You know, that's what a baseball season is, ups and downs, and they come and go throughout the whole season, and we've got more than half of it left. So we'll just continue to focus on what we can focus on.
What's been good about the last 7?
I mean, just playing well. I mean, everybody's competing. Like I said, playing for each other. Yeah, I mean, it's really not too complicated.
Given all the ups and downs of the season and given the fact that there's 100 games left, how does it feel now to be sitting in a playoff spot after this game?
I didn't even know. But I know we're playing good, so that's all I'm focused on.
Thanks.
All right, guys.
Hey, you know what I'm thinking of?
What's that?
When I'm watching that?
Let's hear it.
I'm thinking of Austin Matthews. That was like an Austin Matthews interview.
I mean,
no,
when you're ranking, you can talk any way you want to talk.
I know, but what I mean by that is
that's Bo.
Yeah.
I mean, you stick a microphone in Bo's face. That's what it sounds like, which is fine.
I mean,
which is fine.
It was great. No, listen, he's
locked in.
You know how he is. He is a guy who is definitely locked in. And I'll tell you what, I think you talk to guys who are on the verge of free agency, and there's two things. Oh, there's usually three trains of thought. One, I'm not thinking about it. I'm just taking it day to day.
Well, you're lying.
Two, yeah, it's on my mind.
Yeah,
right.
I believe that.
3, and I I'm not going to say who said this. Former Blue Jays free agent said, you might be able to guess who it was. It was an older guy, friend of the show.
Yeah.
The only times I think about my free agency are 1, when I'm slumping, or 2, when I'm on a roll. And I thought, that's it in a nutshell. 1, how much money am I costing myself?
Sure.
2, oh man, I'm about to break the bank. And I think that's exactly the way it is with a lot of guys in their free agent year. And I mean, I would be that way too, frankly.
Yeah, I think you got to give the organization and John Snyder a lot of credit too. They could have moved him down in the lineup. I mean, the way he hits with runners in scoring position and, what they're not getting from certain guys that are on the IL, they could have moved him down. They could have put him in a different spot. They didn't. They left him in a leadoff spot. He looks comfortable there. He's getting in his hip quicker, which is a big deal. You listen to him talk anytime about hitting. He always talks about getting in that hip as soon as he can because of the size of the leg kick. And then it's rhythm and timing and bat path and all those things. When he starts taking sliders and backspinning those things with good posture to right center field, boy, look out. It's just now all of a sudden he can get it to wherever he needs to get it to with different kinds of velocity. And, yeah, if I'm him, I'm driving home a little happier. Like my smile on my face is getting a little bigger because them stats are going up and up and up.
Right. All right.
Somebody's going to pay.
Back to the texter's question. And I think you answered it. You let it play out. I'm with you. I'm not saying you don't at some point have a conversation. I mean, I'm sure there are conversations with Bo's agent during the course of the year. How are you feeling? What are you thinking?
Yeah. We got to have a better option. Somebody can play short. Jimenez, you think you can do that?
Yeah, but that's not. You don't have that talk right now. You don't have that talk right now. You're talking to Bo's people. You're keeping in touch. You're getting a sense of where they're at. You're waiting for if there's an indication one way or another, and there probably won't be.
Well, maybe it's not this front office that'll be doing the talking.
Well, but they have to do the talking right now. If anybody's talking to Bo, it's going to be them. It's not going to be an imaginary GM. So you have those conversations, but I mean, I'm with you. At this point in time, let it play out, see what happens in the postseason. You know one thing about this team, ownership will spend money to keep the players it wants. You know what Bo knows? If they really want him, they will spend money to keep him here. So I think it's very simple. You do with Bo what you were going to do with Vladdy. You've earned the right to be a free agent.
Yeah.
Go get your best offer.
Maybe.
And then we'll see. And then we'll see whether or not we're going to re-sign you.
For me, it's about winning.
That's irrelevant.
Show us it's not.
It's irrelevant.
All the owner wants to do now is win.
Yeah, but
just made that clear. And if you got two guys who were the cornerstones of your organization and they haven't won since they've been together, maybe it's time to break them up. That's the point. That's the tough conversation. Oh, well, I would be.
Yeah, but the point is, Kevin, there's nothing. You're missing the point. There's nothing wrong with saying to Bo, "Go get your best offer and bring it back to us." That doesn't mean they're going to re-sign him. Well, that means you're giving them the freedom to get the best offer.
It depends on who's saying it.
So I mean that doesn't cost anything. Doesn't cost anything to tell a little white lie. It just doesn't. No, it doesn't. Go get your best contract offer, bring it back.
Bottom line is moved on. Dude's raking. I mean, he's back. He's doing everything from the lower half that he needs to do to. I mean, when he hits the ball line to line like he is right now, I just don't know consistently how you get him out. Sometimes you want to pull your head off and punt it because you see him swing at things that he swings at. You really do. It's very sometimes hard to watch. And then once he has success doing it, and you're like, holy moly! And then we're told that he's never been more selective than he has in May. In his career, that's a big deal too. There's a reason why he's slugging more.
Yeah. Well, I tend to think, yeah.
Get a better pitch to hit to do more damage on. Yeah, you get paid more money.
I think we tend to forget the first 3 or 4 years of Bo's career, and we look at last year. That's the way, and I think that's what Bo is, Bo's answer to a lot of those questions. You being locked in. He's like, I was locked in 3 years ago. I was locked in 4 years ago.
Yeah, well, we just haven't seen it in a while. I think it's fun to watch it. Why is he doing it?
John in Sudbury had a question for us.
I just want to hear what you guys think about John Schneider in general. It seems like whenever we're playing really good baseball, the fans in general really enjoy him as a manager, but it's so vice versa when we're not hitting the ball and pitching well. Do you guys believe in John? Do you think he's here for a long tenure? Or if the Blue Jays really stink it up down the stretch, knock on wood, are we going to see some off-season moves? Let me know. Thanks, guys.
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first.
Yes, I believe in him. I have no idea about the latter. It depends on who's coming back.
Depends on the front office. Yeah, if you get a new front office in here, they're going to want to bring their own guy in.
Yes, I believe in him. Just look at how he's handled the lineup. The urgency there. I mean, it's never been more urgent. I mean, he will make a move. He'll lead off or hit second or third, maybe not first and second. But after that, he'll do whoever is hitting well in those spots that he has to do to win a baseball game, which is, I mean, he's basically got nothing from a guy that hit 44 big ones last year and the center fielder's rarely on the field. And the closer is all over the place. And me and Jeff say this all the time. What are they, 5 games above 500? They're 4 behind the...
4 above 500.
I mean, that's crazy. It's with everything that's going on, the way they started the season, with what they weren't doing, the home runs they were giving up.
Yeah, with
who they don't have in their 5th spot, their 4th guy has been
there's a couple of things good here. I mean, first of all, it is safe to say that there are fans who are always, there were fans in this city who didn't like Cito Gaston, and he was winning back-to-back World Series. There are fans in this city who didn't like John Gibbons the first time he was here, and they think, came back here the second time with better players, better pitchers, and a general manager that went all in, and all of a sudden he can walk on water. So, how the fans feel about a manager, to me, is irrelevant for the most part. I will say this. I think there's been less dissatisfaction with John this year, which is probably the result of the fact that they've won some games.
Yeah.
I also think people's dissatisfaction in this market is directed squarely at the general manager.
Fair.
And you know what? It's fair, but it's also very much a Toronto thing. This city loves to hate on GMs. I mean, it doesn't matter who it is. They love to hate on GMs, and that's just not baseball. That's every sport in this city. No city spends as much time thinking about the general managers in their particular sports as a team. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. There really is nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Look, I judge John Schneider this way, the same way I judge every other manager. How does he handle his bullpen? Last year, basically the front office punted on his bullpen. So there was nothing anybody could have done last year with that bullpen. There just wasn't. They basically went 3 weeks without a closer.
Yeah.
That's just not going to fly. So when he has a good bullpen, or when he has a bullpen of reliable pieces, I think he does a really good job.
Yeah.
He keeps his old starting pitchers healthy. Now, a lot of that is on Pete Walker and the training staff for sure. But
and the older guys that are pitching. But John also creates a culture where those guys have a say in what they're doing. And it's ultimately John's decision to take a guy out or leave a guy in. And I would, they're with the exception of the Kevin Gossman situation earlier this year. Was that in New York? Was it in New York where he left him in? I think so. Yeah. The 52 pitchers or whatever.
Yeah, the 53 pitch thing.
51.
50, whatever
51
it was.
Or something.
Very seldom, can you look back and say John made a move where he didn't have a logical reason to make that move?
How many games did he lose? It's real hard to sit down and think of an obvious game or two that he lost.
And I don't think
that's what good managers do. Just don't lose them.
Yeah.
You got enough talent to, if you run the right guy out at the right time who's available that day, because they have more talent, they're going to win more games than they're going to lose.
What I find really interesting about this year in particular, and Dan and Joe talked about this in the telecast today, and actually it's something we're going to talk about, I think, on Blair and Barker tomorrow. If you look at the way the Jays are presently constructed, without Santander and Varsho for the time being, there is a way, or the team is designed such that John Schneider can at least get the platoon advantage in most situations where he needs it, because they've got enough lefty hitters. They never had. I mean, this organization used to never have a lefty hitter, God, let alone a switch hitter. And when Anthony Santander comes back and Dalton Varsho comes back, there is a similarity between this team and a team like the Minnesota Twins where, Rocco Baldelli, he'll go to his bench in the 4th or 5th inning. He's got no problem doing that. And I think that is something John hasn't had for a while. For a long time, John had a bunch of guys who were probably bench guys but hit right-handed. And it's just hard. It's hard to run a team of part-timers out there when you don't have the platoon advantage. That makes it a little easier to use the guys that you're using.
Well,
so, I'm with you. I think John's had a really good year.
Give the players credit; they've been good. Whenever they've been in the lineup, they've done exactly. We've seen Lucas hit a homer and then bunt in his next at bat. Like they're doing whatever John tells them to do.
Oh, and all those
which is all about winning.
All those people who get light in the loafers about small ball and all that. John Schneider is the manager at Nathan Lucas bunt with 2 strikes.
That's it.
So. There's a lot to like there. Is John Schneider has he prevented them from going to the playoffs? No. It has not been John Schneider who's prevented the Blue Jays from going to the playoffs, at least to my way of thinking. Jim in Calgary had a question for us.
Kevin, nice Virginia Tech shirt you got on.
Thanks, Jim. I appreciate that.
And congratulations on your induction there.
It means a lot. Thanks, Jim.
That's a heck of an honor. You should be very proud of yourself.
Thank you, sir.
Quick question. Paul Skeens came up with Pittsburgh as with only a year and a bit of pro time. And we've got Yasavich down there who seems to be tearing it up at whatever level he plays. Is it crazy to think that he might be the guy that can come in and maybe be that last starter? Anyway, look forward to your answer. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Yeah, it's a good question. Look, I think they're starting him at every level for a reason. When he came on our show and he was talking about, and I asked him, what's a work in progress? And he basically said all of his secondary pitches. It's and then when I said, how much do you want to throw hard? And he said, every time I release the baseball. It doesn't seem like he's a finished product yet. It's a lot to ask a guy because basically if you call him up, you're telling him be the savior when it comes to the back end of the rotation. It's not the easiest thing for a college kid to do, and you would almost like him to have a full spring training.
Yes.
Hey, have one of the spots coming out of spring training if Petey's here and however next year goes, if he's having an opportunity to be one of the 5 starters next year, which he might. And again, not every player is always in a hurry to be a big leaguer. Like it's a process. I hate that word. It's a process sometimes with certain guys. And it just seems like listening to him talk on our show, hearing just sort of the rumblings around him, where they've started him, like they basically want him to go at every level and figure it out and strike out and go through whatever it takes to go through those things. Like he also seems like he's a little ways away just yet.
Yeah, and the numbers aren't the things they look at in the minor leagues anymore. They look at all pitch shape and all that stuff before they decide to bring him up. And I would also caution anybody, and I'm not saying this to be mean or negative, but this organization does have a history of having its high prospect pitchers get injured. So I think they're going to be very careful with Trey Savage. Now, I don't know how the front office's long-term stability factors into that. I like to think that nobody in baseball would say, well, I may not be here next year, so what the hell? Let's bring the kid up who isn't ready.
It's not the kid's fault.
I think we need to speak less about Trey Savage and start taking a closer look and following Alek Manoah's recovery. Because to me, Alek Manoah is the guy who, if he can somehow be a contributor the end of the season in any form, in the perfect world, if you could get Max Scherzer going, and now you got Alek Manoah coming up, you've solved a lot of your issues. And maybe you go to the trade deadline and add another arm at the end of the bullpen. Well, they're going to have to,
it seems like.
So
in the rotation, maybe too.
There's if you're an optimist, it's easy to see how this situation corrects itself in August and September. The thing is, you got to get yourself to August and September for that too.
It's a good question.
But it's a good question.
Yeah,
and who, again, who knows? You're dealing with a college guy. You're not dealing with a high school guy.
I just don't know how they grade a college pitcher. What's he have to do to check that right?
And
box
there's only one. And let's
for
be
them
clear.
for them to bring him up to help that they think he can help them at the big league level this year.
Yeah, and let's be clear.
I don't know what that box is.
When Paul Skeens was drafted, Paul Skeens didn't surprise anybody by how fast he came up here.
No.
So there's Paul Skeens, and then there's
and it's
there's
about money. It's
else.
always about money.
I mean, less so. You start the arbitration. Less so in this case with these guys.
Probably.
I mean, if it isn't,
depends on the player how long they think he'll be here.
I'm not certain it's necessarily about money here. However, you're right. In a lot of cases, it is 9-1. The Jays have beaten the Philadelphia Phillies today at the Rogers Center. They are 33-29. They are in second place in the AL East. They've almost got just like one run away from getting into a positive run differential, which is very much a thing. We'll go into Minnesota tomorrow for a 3-game series against the Twins. No Pablo Lopez for the Twins. And again, Carlos Correa battling back issues. So
getting lucky.
A few things are
getting lucky. It's lining up.
A few things are breaking the Jays' way. They really are. Adam in Kamloops, BC reached out to us.
They're starting to hit good now. Do you think when Santander comes back into the lineup, they're going to improve, or are they good with the things going on right now? The other thing is with the pitching, I feel we have a strong pitching with some weaknesses in the starters. Do you think Scherzer coming back is going to help? Do you think Scherzer coming back is going to just be one of those down lows? Thanks for taking my call, guys. You guys have a wonderful night.
Thanks, Adam.
Very nice. Is Scherzer coming back?
I mean, he'll be back at some point after he'll be back after the All-Star.
Okay. I mean, how can you count on that till you see him? So I have no idea about that. Yeah, the
I'm
rotation.
An optimist about it. I'm an optimist
the fourth and fifth guy in your rotation, they got to figure that out.
See this?
He's probably not in the
See
organization.
This glass?
Well, I don't believe it's
glass?
It's empty. Nobody can
is.
see in there. It's empty. I know you. I've been around you too long, but
I was going to pretend it's
I've been around you too long. And it is amazing how good your lineup can look when your best hitters are being your best hitters. Like there's some surprises. Barger's a surprise. Kirky, I think what he's doing, nobody expected him to hit 300. If you did, you're nuts. Springer doing the things he's doing. He had a little bump in the road, and now he's back to being Springer. Like there's surprises. Don't you look over at me like you're fish-eyeing me or something.
Kirky
come on
hitting
now.
300.
Don't get crazy.
It all gets back. Never miss a chance to take a shot at old Kirky.
I'm as big a fan as everybody else is, but
no, you're not.
Nobody was banking the house that 3 months in, he's hitting 300. I mean, don't get crazy. You weren't believing.
I thought
him in Florida in November at the complex throwing the weighted ball that he's hitting 300.
I thought he could hit 300.
Come on now, let's not get crazy. So there are some, and when Tony gets back, look, Tony's pressure. I mean, they brought Tony here to thump.
Yeah,
and Tony has been MIA. I mean, it's time. And him and Vladdy. I mean, what was it, 34 games? Yeah, that's fun to watch. But he got 8 big ones. He should have 20.
Oh, that streak is over, by the way.
Yeah, I know. He should have 20 homers. With the talent that dude's got, and should have 20 already. Yeah. I'm talking 20. I mean, that dude is farting talent. Like, it's time. Or you can look at you can look all over the place. It is time. Like, I know it's fun to watch him walk, and
it's not fun to watch
for
him
me.
walk.
So yeah, I think it's for them to be where they're at. With what their best players, some of their best players aren't doing. I mean, it's
having him chase. You know what? Here's the thing about the walking, and that suggests to me, at least, that he might be close. Where if he was swinging and missing all the time and striking out, I'm just saying it does.
He's looking that way because he's got talent. It's just all the late. Why is he late all the time?
Well,
he's late today on 90. He's late today on 91, 92. I'll ask John tomorrow.
We got John Schneider, the manager, coming on Blair and
I'm going to say just, John, why is he late all the time? All the time. Like,
why is Vladdy late?
You know, and he's got lots of talent. It's a little bit of it's a weird thing to watch consistently all the time. Right now, you know, and now today he's not using batting gloves, which is weird.
I was going to ask you about that. We noticed that last night.
We did last night. I know last night he's chapped because he flew out to run on third and he ripped his batting glove. I do know that for a fact.
So that was he ripped his batting gloves, and I guess Vladdy doesn't have another pair.
Yes, he was brought a pair, and he was so chapped he didn't feel like putting them on.
He went to the plate without batting gloves for his third at bat,
and then I think today he did it in his last at bat against the high school kid at the position player, whatever that is. I mean, that's tired. You could win the World Series and you're only down 8, and you're throwing a position player. I mean, that's a joke.
You know how I feel about it.
That's a joke.
You use a position player, you should lose a pitcher for the next game.
That is a joke.
A reliever, not a starter. You should lose a reliever for the next game.
So you can tell Vladdy's he's in between. He's a little in between. I've been saying this forever. You know, Bo Bichette has that 2-strike thing. He's always got that to go to. We've seen him go to that 0-0. You know, do get a little quicker. He talks about getting in that hip as quick as he can. Well, if a guy quick pitched him and he can't kick it to his ear, he's going to do that 2-strike thing. Do you ever see Vladdy change?
Nope.
It's this thing. It's this thing. It's this thing, which my hands go down around my chest. I'm fighting them to get them up. What do I do when I'm late? I'm out and around. I'm out. I don't catch it out front and finish it. He does out and around more than finishing it. Why don't he have something else to go to? Maybe eliminate this when this ain't working. I don't know.
Let's go.
I got excited there for no reason.
Well, you did.
There were 4 games above 500, so forget I said all that.
No,
I'm happy just like everybody else. I just want to see him. I want to see him go off.
Vladdy.
Yes. Because it will be fun if he does.
Yeah. It is 4 games over 500 with no Santander for the most part, and Vladdy turning into the walking man is,
I mean, he's hit some balls hard.
Let's go to the board. Drew, you didn't let me. I thought the walking man. Drew in Ottawa reached out to us on the text line, 590-590. With Kirk hitting like he is and Heineman cashing in runs, do the Jays have the best 1-2 catcher punch in the AL?
Fair.
The best 1-2 catcher punch in the AL right now is Cal and Raleigh.
I mean, how long you been? You wrote that down? I did. You wrote that down, did you? You knew that question was coming already?
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, you can't argue what they're doing. Heineman, I mean, look, he sits over there and, can't see for 3 days and gets off the bench and is yanking 97 in the gap. I mean, he's throwing doubles in the gap. I mean, that's pretty sweet, dude. Give him credit. That's awesome.
And
watch. He's a great dude, too. I root for him big time.
I'm going to say this. I got to say this. Yeah, well, at some point, I want to go and look into this, or maybe somebody else will do it for me, because quite frankly, I don't feel that much motivation to do all sorts of math. But I'm wondering.
Khakis running all over the place.
Khakis are like, they're jumping out of their cars in the Gardner right now. They're going all over the place. We got some work to do to save Jeff's ass here because he doesn't want to do math. What? I wonder, Chris Bassett not happy with his last start.
Yep.
Tyler Heineman comes in today. It works. I'm not blaming Kirk. I'm not saying that at all.
It's had nothing to do with it.
No. But I'm wondering, you've talked about, and other guys have talked about, Heineman, more expressive. You watch him, I mean, he's calls pitches in.
Yeah.
You know, he was working back and forth with Bassett.
Seemed
Today,
like
Bassett
he's
was
pushing the button more than Bassett was pushing.
I'm wondering if maybe I'm wondering if maybe there isn't something about a catcher who can help pitchers correct things. I'm not saying he's there on a day-to-day basis.
I think it's the
but
rubber
maybe Heineman goes with Bowden Francis the next time and see if he can get Bowden
Francis. I thought you
loved
loved Kirky. Why are you saying this?
No, because I do think that there are some catchers, they're almost like doctors. Go visit Dr. Heineman.
Yeah,
Dr. Heineman, here's my couch. Sit down. What do you want us to do?
I don't think that was it. I think he was uncomfortable standing on the third base side of the rubber. You mentioned they've been doing a really good job of keeping themselves healthy. Healthy means you move on the rubber. He made it a point to say about his body, that his body was feeling weird on the third base side. He fixes it by moving on the first base side.
Yeah.
So you stay on the field longer. It means you get the ball every 5 days. You're better to do that than somebody else because basically they don't got anybody else. So me, personally, it's like sort of when you pay dudes offensively, you shouldn't have to walk up to fix them. I'm paying you because you know how to fix yourself. Every once in a while, you just need to walk by and go, I don't know, some code word like foot or ear. I don't know, some word that just all of a sudden it goes wham. That's all. So I'm in that camp.
I mean, you're the guy who comes on the air all the time and says, they got to fix these guys. They got to fix them. Now you're saying they don't have to fix them. Now you're saying the hitters have to.
Who's they?
You said they. Can they fix you? We can go back and get the tape. You've said all along, can they fix Santander? That's what's going to be important. Can they fix this guy? Can they fix that guy? Now you're telling me that it's up to the players to fix themselves. Physician, heal thyself. That's essentially what you're saying.
I'm not blaming the GM. I'm blaming the players. You say everybody wants to blame the GM. I'm blaming the players. So there you go. You gave him a hundo to fix himself. How's that?
Matt in Dorchester reached out to us.
My question is, I'm just wondering if we get one more legitimate starter anywhere here up until the deadlines, is this a playoff contending team and even a World Series contending team? I like what I'm seeing of the offense, and I think one more starter on the back end, we're going to be looking good. Thanks.
Oh, you're missing the W. You mentioned the W word.
You had me until that. Meaningful games in September, absolutely. They got enough. Horses. They're going to get Tony back. He'll figure it out. Pedigree.
He's going to fix himself.
He'll figure it out. Varsho, as long as he's playing, he'll hit homers. So that'll be enough, to fill in the blanks and score enough runs. It's just the 4 and 5 guy in the rotation and that closer that every once in a while is So, there's some things there, but I think their team's good enough. And the American League is not real good.
This is the year. This is the year I think the GM's got to. I think he will. And I think
it will.
I will because Ross is not. This is why last year, to me, was just so frustrating early last year.
Maybe they were telling you something.
Because Ross has always, for the most part, gone out and addressed pitching issues. Again, I know people get tired of me saying this, but adding Adam Simber and the guy whose name I forget, Trevor Richards. Yeah, not big acquisitions, but you know what? Turned out to be huge acquisitions. Yeah. Got them to the postseason that year.
Help.
And Ross will do that. So I think every Jays fan, even with a healthy Anthony Santander, would like to have another impactful bat.
Well, you're asking
I think
a
we
lot.
all figure they could use that.
So you need an eighth-inning guy, a starter who can give you quality innings, and another middle-of-the-order bat.
With all due respect.
Were they trading the Blair and Barker check?
With all due respect, they couldn't get a bucket of balls for us.
Well, maybe for this half.
With all due respect, I wasn't saying I wasn't going to saying that they're going to go out and trade for all those things.
Yeah.
I'm saying I don't think you get a middle of the order hitter.
You know what's bad is
it's easier at the trade deadline to go out and add a pitcher.
You know what's bad is all the other teams that are in the mix too are all looking for the same thing.
Not really.
So you're competing.
No, they're all looking for pitching. They're all looking for pitching. I thought you were talking about middle of the order hitters.
Oh, yeah,
they're all looking for pitching. 100%. Take a look at every trade deadline. What are all the rumors about? For the most part, they're about pitching.
Ozuna would look good hitting cleanup for the Jays from the Braves. You think Alex will do him a solid?
No.
No. I have to ask.
Dave and Sarnia reached out to us on the back leg line.
Who do you think in the lineup has the highest ceiling? There's comparisons of Addison Barger to somebody like a Josh Donaldson. What do you guys think about those comments? And anybody to look out for kind of for the future? Thank you.
Oh, I like that question. I don't know who would have compared him to Josh Donaldson. You know, Josh Donaldson in this show is just slightly less than a deity. I mean, we both, I admit, we're both charter members of the JD fan club. Highest ceiling, I would not argue with Barger just because what he has is so intriguing, and because the questions, Kevin, like let's say that he becomes a really, really good player.
Yeah.
Think of the questions he answers for you.
Yeah.
Everyday third baseman with good defense and a middle of the order left-handed bat with power.
Yeah.
So that's why I think his high ceiling.
I don't know who any other name would be other than Barger. Who's the other name? Lucas? No, I mean he's up there in age. Clase, he's a fourth outfielder. He ain't playing. Jimenez, I mean he's an everyday second baseman.
Clement is
Schneider. He's a left-handed specialist. Is there any other name you'd even talk about?
I think
Barger's an everyday guy.
I think it was the caller was also talking about down in the minor leagues. I mean, Alan Roden is up in the major leagues now. I don't think he's got the same. I just don't.
Will Wagner.
Will Wagner's a guy.
Talking about him leading off.
Yeah, it's amazing. You don't hear anything about him, and now he's hurt. But you don't hear a lot about that anymore. Orelvis Martinez. I'll tell you. I used to look up Orelvis Martinez's stats every day. I haven't looked it up once this year, and you don't hear anything about Orelvis Martinez.
Well, Barger will do that to you. Barger and him play sort of the same position.
I think I think the bigger the bigger question, the bigger point about Addison Barger is if he does come good, he solves two. Like God bless Ernie Clement, but if Addison Barger can play defense and hit 20, 30 home runs as a lefty hitter, he answers two of your most pressing questions.
That's why you get Tony back doing his thing. You get Varsho back doing his thing. You can move Ernie into that sort of fifth middle infielder, roving around, giving guys days off. He doesn't have to play every day. That's his strength. Now you got Barger playing third. Tony can play right. You could DH Springer whenever you want to DH Springer. Like, if you get those two dudes back who are everyday guys and sort of hit Barger, say, in the sixth or seventh hole, man, you're talking cooking with gravy, and your lineup's longer, and you got a dude that can hit lefty, that can hit maybe 15-ish. Jeff, don't you tease me like that. Perfect scenario. So, I mean, there's a lot have to come to head there, and everything would have to work out, but you could close your eyes and picture it. And he's an everyday guy. Is there anything you've seen baseball IQ-wise that will tell you he's not an everyday guy? No. Absolutely not. So it's fun to watch. His quick thinking, the things he's had to think about at third base. He's had a couple of plays where he's made the right decision on difficult plays, and that coupled with the fact that arm is it's such an equalizer. Yeah, I mean, it really is. It would be easier to get everybody back to where he could play third every day and not have to flip-flop back and forth from right to third.
Yeah.
Because I don't like that.
And regardless of what this team's payroll is going to be, man, you do need, if you can get a guy who's going to be an offensive machine and earn, less than like you said, be arbitration eligible for a few years. Well, no, I'm saying if he could be, he's going to save you a lot of money because all of a sudden you're not going to be going out.
You are just
all of a sudden. There you go. 9-1, the Blue Jays beat the Philadelphia Phillies. They will go to Minnesota tomorrow to take on the Twins. Thank you for listening to Blue Jays Baseball, brought to you by the local family-owned Crown Rust Control Centers in Mississauga on Lakeshore Road and Watline Avenue. Crown is proud to be Canadian-owned and operated since 1986, so protect your vehicle from rust today at your local Crown Rust Control Center, or you can visit crown.com. Crown is Canada's #1 rust protection.
Major League Play-by-Play is now on SiriusXM Radio and online with the SiriusXM app.
Why do I love calling this game?
Calling this game.
Why do I love calling this game?
It's because I get a chance to bring some joy into people's lives.
Anything can happen on a baseball field.
We've got a new game.
It's perfectly unscripted theater.
Everybody on their feet.
Because you never know what you're going to see on a given day.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. just walked it off.
There's just something about baseball on the radio.
Something about the way wood hits leather.
A swing and a drive to deep left center.
The way leather hits dirt.
And he made the play. Oh, my.
The way a deep fly ball sounds like it's about to change history.
High fly ball to center field. It's hit pretty well toward the wall.
Until the cleats hit the grass, hit the crushed brick, and then nothing but sky and a silent crowd.